ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, offering today's invocation, the president of Donnelly College from right here in Kansas City, Kansas, Monsignor Stuart Swetland.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Let us pray. Strong and faithful God, as we come together for this race, we ask you to bless these teams, these crews, these drivers, these officials, and all present and watching here today. Keep them safe from injury and harm. Instill in them respect for each other and reward them for their good sportsmanship and perseverance. God bless NASCAR, the Kansas Speedway, and our nation. And we ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Please remain standing for today's national anthem, performed by Sony Music Nashville and the Penthouse recording artist, whose debut album right now is streaming everywhere. Please welcome Willie Jones.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kansas Speedway, also the home of the AFC Championship. Reed of the Chiefs, your first back-to-back Super Bowls, your first NASCAR race in person. I know we haven't cranked the engines yet, but what do you expect?
Well, listen, I know it's going to be loud. Maybe a tad louder than Arrowhead, but I mean, I look forward to it. You got fans out here. It looks like a great venue, and I'm looking forward to my first race.
Yeah, and fans back at Arrowhead for the draft. They're here in some parts of the place at the racetrack to enjoy the race. Very important to have fans, especially where you play.
Well, it is. It's great to have them back. It was great to see them this past weekend. It's great to see the fans out here today.
Fresh out of the draft room. By the way, Joe Gibbs, Hall of Fame coach, football and NASCAR. You ever talked to him about the similarities?
You know, I did when he came back to the NFL. I had a chance down at the owner meetings just to sit down with him and talk to him a little bit, and very interesting. I mean, to be great at two separate things, most people are lucky to be great at one thing, let alone two.
He told me there was a time where he coached in football to support his NASCAR love. If you weren't in coaching or in football, what would you be doing?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure. I'll probably be coaching high school football somewhere.
But you'd still be coaching. So Patrick Mahomes, what we saw him in the iRacing, what kind of driver would he be if he were in a cup car? Would he be patient? Would he be aggressive? And how would you handle him as a crew chief?
Yeah, well, I know he's got great reaction. He's got great vision and timing, so it would probably fit into this. After watching him, he probably needs a little practice, but he's willing to do anything to be great. So I think he'd probably be great at this, too.
Yeah, Cliff told me you had got to experience iRacing, and you actually were a little better behind the wheel than Patrick, but we won't tell anybody about that. Nice work on the draft. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your first race. We'll have a cheeseburger when they crank the engines. In fact, let's go there now.
All right.
Now, race fans, to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome the Buschy.
Hey everyone, Buschy here. Let's get the Buschy McBusch Race 400 underway. Drivers, start your engines.
All right, take care. All right, we're out of here. We're good? Yeah.
Hey, we are ready for the NASCAR Cup Series on Kansas Speedway on FS1. And what a tumultuous, topsy-turvy season it has been. Look at these drivers who total more than 200 career victories, and none of them have a checkered flag this season as we come to this neat mile-and-a-half super speedway in the Great Plains. Mike Joy with Jeff Gordon and hometown hero Clint Boyer, who has a lot of laps around this place. How does this track race, Clint?
Well, for me, you got two different conversations. You got restarts that we know is going to be wild, 3, 4, 5 wide, everybody pressing, everybody wide open on that throttle, and then you got these long runs, needing to make this track bigger, not pull on that wheel. You're going to see cars up high, Jeff.
Yeah, and I go back to that list of drivers who haven't won yet, and I think a lot of them excel at a track like this. Kevin Harvick's so good here. Kyle Busch, you talk about searching these different lanes, working the throttle, and trying to run that high line as well as that we're going to see, and then being aggressive. So Denny Hamlin, all these guys, Chase Elliott, all these guys really fit into that. Will we get to 16 winners? I don't know, but if somebody like Amarola or Austin Dillon does, we just might.
So in a word, do we get a 10th different winner today?
Jeff?
I think we do. I'm going with one of those guys on our screen. I think one of those guys can win here today.
No chance.
All right. Hey, how about we talk to the fellow who scored a runner-up finish last week at Talladega?
Yeah, already a win this season. William Byron, this is Jeff Clinton. Mike up in the Fox Sports booth. You got us?
Yeah, 10-4. I got you, Jeff.
Buddy, that 24 is looking good out there in the front row. Great finish last week to get this starting position. Tell us about Kansas. I mean, you've had some good runs here. You've been good on the mile-and-a-halfs this year. Tell us what your thoughts are about today.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of the funnest mile-and-a-halfs we go to. I feel like you can really move around. You're going to see us run all over, especially it being a day race. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be, this has honestly become one of the funnest racetracks to come to as a driver. So looking forward to it. I feel like our guys have put a lot of effort into this car.
Well, as fast as that machine looks there, that Exalta Chevrolet, you ought to be in good shape, man. Go have a great race. Thanks for talking to us.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Want to say hi to my mom back home, and appreciate you guys.
Oh,
Shout out to Mom, huh?
yeah, a week early.
Good boy,
He's always
there.
getting ahead of us.
All right, here's your Credible.com starting grid that has William Byron on the front row with top 10s in the last 8 races. Next to Brad Keselowski, 2-time Kansas winner and the Talladega winner. Row 2, Michael McDowell, 4 top 10s in 2021, matching his most in a season, and 3-time Kansas winner, Kevin Harvick.
And in row 3, devastating loss in the closing lap. Matt DiBenedetto starting 5th. Alongside him, Austin Dillon in the famous number 3. Finished top 10 in the last 2 races of 2021.
Yeah, row 4 here. Ryan Blaney won on the last mile-and-a-half track in the lane. I think that's going to mean something today. Then Christopher Bell finished Kansas best 10th last fall. So look for them, boys.
Happy birthday, Kyle Busch. He turns 36 today. He won the truck race last night, early birthday present. And Cole Custer, who finished 10th last week, a season best. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece in row 6, and you'll see the rest of our lineup along the crawl at the bottom of the screen as we check in with Larry Mack at a very speedy racetrack.
Well, Mike, the racing is intense on the racetrack, but pit road can be intense as well. Green flag pit stops. Entering pit road can be treacherous. You see them checking pit road speed? Why? Last year, a total of 15 pit road speeding penalties. And speaking of speeding, Denny Hamlin has won 2 of the last 3 races here, but the 2 races, Mike, he's not finished in the top 5 this year. Pit road speeding penalties, and he doesn't have the best pit box selection. He's pitting behind an old friend, Joey Logano.
There are the 3 most productive pit stalls at Kansas, occupied by Keselowski, Byron, and McDowell. And the 3 least productive, surprisingly, all have heavy hitters in them. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Joey Logano, as Larry mentioned. You draw for your pit stall based on your starting position. So, last week, Joey Logano had a tough ending to Talladega on his lid after contact. A big slide over Bubba Wallace's car. How's he doing 1 week later? Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, this weekend has kicked off about as bad as it ended last week. Yesterday morning, Joey Logano woke up and he was suffering from food poisoning. He actually had to miss our broadcast on the Truck Series as our guest analyst last night. Right now, before he got in the car, I was told that he's feeling much better. He's been getting some fluids. He's going to stick it out. They don't have a backup driver, but I talked to Paul Wolf, his crew chief, and he said usually in the mornings, Joey comes into the garage early. They work together. They go over strategy. They didn't get to do any of that today. They kept their distance, and he's got his work cut out for him. Joey Logano starting deep in the field, 29th. Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, when we talk about drivers that don't have wins this season, perhaps the most glaring name is that of Kevin Harvick, 9-time winner from a season ago. Right now, the race team has changed what they do on the 1.5 mile racetracks, their concepts, how they set the car up, and what they're trying to do versus long runs and short runs. They feel very good about what they've done for today to try and get Kevin Harvick that first notch of the 2021 season in victory lane.
Thanks, Regan. Here's today's Credit One race analysis. 400 miles will be the distance, 267 laps. Stages 1 and 2, 80 laps each. Pit road speed 45. Fuel window right around 60 laps, and we will have a competition caution at lap 25. This is not Daytona or Talladega, but boy, this track sure has a history of big ones.
Yeah, Jeff, ouch. I feel like it always brings back to being wide open on this racetrack with this 550 horsepower package. You can't lift on these restarts. You lift, they go by you on both sides of you. Got to stay in that fuel. These cautions come out at the end of this race. Look out.
There's the all-new TRD Toyota Camry leading the field as we get set to go in Kansas.
Hey, I can't. I got to go back real quick. Joey Logano not feeling good. For guys like me and Clint that like to talk a lot on the radio, being sick inside the car was the best thing for the crew chiefs because we usually didn't talk a whole lot.
No whining, no complaining.
That's right.
Pace car is in. Green flag for 400 miles in Kansas. Brad Keselowski picks up right where he left off last week. He led only the last lap at Talladega. He leads the first lap today.
Mike, that first opening lap was a reminder why we see the big one here. I felt like we were at Talladega. They're just wide open, bump draft, and pushing one another on the opening lap.
Man, I thought we were on the brink of seeing that one, right? But the thing is it's because you got to remember these guys haven't been on this racetrack. No practice, no anything. All that thing off in the corner, wide open, flat on the floor.
Matt DiBenedetto in bright yellow colors solidifies fifth place behind Michael McDowell, who's in blue this week.
Benedetto making a nice move to the inside there. But not that's exactly what's good. You're going to see a lot of today. You're going to see guys get a big run, go dive down to the bottom, but not quite able to complete that pass.
Yeah, Michael kind of almost gave him the bottom, knowing that, because then he side dropped it off the side of him. You can see Austin trying to move around, navigating around this high speed. You got to remember, this track is extremely fast, so you're always searching for clear air on that nose.
Top 14, single file. Tyler Reddick went way down to the apron. No out of bounds here.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. That's the difference between Talladega and this racetrack right here. No out of bounds. We were riding on board there with Ryan Newman, and he went all the way down to that apron. So this front straightaway, you can get 5 or 6 wide.
3 wide. Kyle Larson up 11 spots since the start of this one.
And this is where it comes in right where I was saying, trying to find where you can have clean air on that nose. That helps the car turn. The other thing about this, we're at Kansas, Jeff. You never know what the wind's going to do and the effect that wind makes on these race cars. Blows you all around as you catch that air on the nose. It wants to make the thing loosen with a crosswind, and then blowing down that back straightaway it's really easy and entices you to overdrive the corner getting into 3.
Remember, the starting order is determined by a matrix combining point standings, last week's finish, and last week's fastest lap. So a lot of the top contenders that got taken out early at Talladega coming from deep in the field. Matt DiBenedetto taking 4th from Michael McDowell.
Hey, don't count out Matt DiBenedetto. Okay, we said his opportunity may have slipped away last week at Talladega. He's proven right here at Kansas today. He's got a fast race car, and he has a great starting position to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it wasn't, but what, a short month ago, I counted him out. I honestly did. And then now all of a sudden, in the last 3 weeks, he's come alive. He's gained a ton of points, and he's back in the playoff conversation.
Yeah, Clint, 55 points below the cut line 3 races ago, now 12.
William Byron was hunting the lead off turn number 4, where he had a run on the outside. But he gives up some going into turn 1 to Brad Keselowski.
And Kevin Harvick in 3rd position in those drivers' tire tracks. Showing some good speed here early at Kansas.
Birthday boy Kyle Busch on the bottom against his teammate Christopher Bell. And now Austin Dillon moving up on McDowell. This is for 7th.
And I've always loved this 1.5-mile track just because the way it flows, the way the transitions are, but you have so many different grooves and ways to make passes to make up time on your competitors.
I thought you loved this track because you won the first race here.
Well, that too.
The only reason I ever loved this track is because it was home. Boy, I struggled at this place.
I may have seen you in 1 or 2 of those clips that we had of the big wrecks.
Jeff, don't let them cut you short. You won the first 2 races.
That's
here.
right, Larry Mack. Thank you, sir.
You can see the seams as they go off into the corners. These seams are such a big pivotal role when you're racing, trying to navigate around through these corners. You got to be able to sometimes split that seam and find a little bit of grip there, Jeff. As you're searching around and moving, the lanes are very, very important.
Well, because they're just about wide open, they certainly will be on new tires, but you heard right there Denny Hamlin maybe cracking out of the throttle a little bit. You are right on the edge of the grip level. So those seams, there's no doubt there's a little less grip when you get the right side tires on those seams. So you do have to navigate around them.
Hamlin moving into the top 15. He started 20th. Speeding penalties at Talladega left him laps down at the finish. 10 laps complete in a hurry, as is Brad Keselowski, who's our leader in Kansas in Roger Penske's Mustang. As Brad Keselowski has led them all from William Byron and Kevin Harvick. Christopher Bell now 4th. Kyle Busch in the top 5 after starting 9th. Bell started 8th. Matt DiBenedetto started 5th, has dropped to 6th.
Starting to see a lot of race cars, grip going away on these tires this first run, starting to gravitate towards that high line. So now I start looking at the drivers that can run right on the bottom, Mike. If you can still hook the bottom, that white line, and carry good speed, make passes. You see Chase Elliott working that. Here's the 11, Denny Hamlin doing a good job of that. I think that's a sign of what kind of race car you have.
Down the back straightaway with Ross Chastain on the inside. Chastain is flying. He started under penalty, Clint. There were 3 cars they had to start in the back. Chastain and Eric Jones with inspection issues. Anthony Alfredo because of adjustments.
And passing them on either side, right? You saw him pass on the inside. We just talked about 11 hooking the bottom, routing on that white line. Chastain is moving to the front big time. It's got to be a huge shot in the arm for him and his team. They've been beat up pretty bad the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, and we've been watching Denny Hamlin's telemetry here. Look how much he's out of the throttle. I mean, that's all the way out of the throttle. maybe looks tight to me. I don't know. Like the front end was sliding there. But look at Chastain drive away from Denny Hamlin right now.
Well, you said it right there. Anytime you start looking like you're sliding on that thing, you're bailing out of the gas, wrapping the bottom, uses a lot of tire. These are all things you got to try to figure out. Again, no practice, guys, no practice.
Well, somebody did have practice, Ross Chastain, because he drove in the truck race last night.
Good point. Bubba Wallace has been forward and back in this race, and now Regan, he's right where he started, 13th.
Well, Mike, he is right where he started. This is team looking for some good consistency. Bubba very descriptive on the radio early on. Listen to this.
Give him so much time. I know entry speed is pretty low, but man, driving hard, slow, high, slow. Comes around the same amount. See about 2 numbers here. I need the tires to grip up. Feel like I barely penetrate through the rubber. See some help here.
Boy, that's a lot of information that Bubba was giving. You know, sometimes when that much is going on inside the race car, you gotta as a crew chief, get on the radio and break it down just a little bit further and get specific in one area that they can help you.
6th through 9th place, Kyle Larson caught this group like they were stopped. They weren't, but they were running 3 wide through turn 2, and that's always a little edgy. But he had nowhere to go to make a move.
Well, we were having a conversation down on the grid on the pre-race. Will Kyle Larson be in the top 10 before the competition caution or at the end of stage 1? We were even talking, heck, it's not even 20 laps in here, and he's in the 8th position.
These boys are in troubles with that. What you're trying to tell me, Jeff, right?
Yeah, well, I might have to pull back. It's early, but I might have to pull back the fact that I think one of those guys that haven't won yet are going to victory lane. If that 5 car is going to be this fast.
That group is chasing Tyler Reddick in 6th place, Jamie.
Yeah, there was a bet in the A camp for Tyler Reddick. Who would go to the top first, Reddick or Larson, who's right behind him? They said absolutely Tyler will. Well, I talked to Tyler and I said, what's the deal with you always jumping to the top so soon? He said, the honest answer is, I hate running the bottom. It's so hard to stay on that white line. It's easier to see a wall. Right now, though, just a bit free in turn 3, but really likes the entry for this A car.
The other thing he will do running that line is take it away from Kyle Larson, and that's exactly what you saw a few laps ago right there. We showed that big pile. He caught those guys. Reddick was running his line on the outside. That's why he shot to the bottom. And honestly, you said it earlier with the 11 car, Jeff. You have to be able to move around and drive where other cars can't. You run into somebody like Tyler Reddick running in your line, somehow, some way, you got to find different real estate.
But I love hearing that description that Jamie just gave of Tyler Reddick, because it tells you not just about what kind of driver he is, what kind of person he is. You know, he's a guy, he wants to be aggressive. He wants to stand on the gas. He wants to carry a lot of speed in the corner right up inches off the wall. That goes back to his dirt background. You know, so these guys like Denny Hamlin, a lot more patience. Grew up, you know, late model racing on short tracks, and it takes a lot of patience backing up the entry of the corner. Just 2 different styles of personalities.
I can tell you another thing that it does is make fast lap times. Fastest lap on the track by at least 2/10 right there, even over the leaders.
Here are your leaders, Keselowski and Byron, about a half a second apart. Christopher Bell, another 2.5 back.
Right now, I would say that Brad Keselowski's probably holding up William Byron just a little bit, because William Byron has been able to stay right in his tire tracks, while the 4-car Kevin Harvick has fallen all the way back to 5th place after starting up front. But right now, Keselowski, kind of what you were saying, Clint, about Tyler Reddick taking the line away. He's taking that line away from where William Byron wants to run right now.
We saw that last year with Joey Logano in his win. You know, he was holding off the 4-car. Clearly, Kevin Harvick in that 4-car was way faster than him, but he was able to take that air, just like I was talking about, move up, do a little mirror driving, spotter working with him, keep that car behind him, taking all the air off of him, and eventually drove off.
Sometimes, I'm going to use my football term here, got to play a little defense, not always offense.
You've been hanging out with Andy Reid, haven't you?
Yeah,
yes, we have, buddy.
He rubbed off on me down there.
Chase Elliott has been trying to shortcut the track on the front straightaway, and caution is out. This is the competition caution, lap 25. First caution of the day. Let's check in with Larry for the Credible.com race strategy.
Well, the strategy is pretty simple for this competition caution, Mike. You want to pit right here for 4 fresh tires. If we stay caution-free, that gets you to the end of this stage. Stage 2, in the final stage, based on no cautions, you split it in half. But what I'm seeing with the fall-off, if you've run more than about a dozen laps on tires, you change all 4. Staying out or just changing 2 tires, Mike, is a very short-term game.
Fresh Goodyear's lined up and at the ready. They'll be the title sponsor of next week's race in Darlington. First time I believe they've ever done that. BJ McLeod debuting a brand new sponsor this weekend. We'll get the free pass, get back on the lead lap. So when we restart, that'll be 33 cars on the lead lap. Pits will be open this time.
This is one of those racetracks, and we say it each and every week, no mistakes on pit road. If you're going to make them, you better learn it quick, early right here.
But if you look at the statistics, they get made a lot here.
Oh, absolutely.
We've seen 9 speeding penalties here just last fall.
And you would think every team, all right, driver, do not speed on pit road here. But it's just something about...
But don't lose any time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Darned if you do. And here they all come. Regan.
Well, some brand new setup concepts for the number 4 car of Kevin Harvick this week. So far, not where he wants the race car right now, though. Said about 5 laps ago, we're in trouble right now. I can't get it to turn, but I'm very loose in. Give me rear grip was the call from the 4 car. Jamie?
Christopher Bell in that 20 got his first career Xfinity Series win here. He was excited to come back to this track. Really good in 1 and 2 is really all the comments he's had. The 24 of William Byron really liked the grip up top overall. Pretty neutral for that machine. And the number 2, Brad Keselowski. Loose early, but pretty good through the middle.
Keselowski, Byron, Bell. Just the way they came in. Kyle Busch lost 2 spots. Tyler Reddick gained 2. First yellow flag of the day for the competition caution due to no practice.
I guess you'll have to find out.
Even with all the barbecue we ate last night, Clint still has $10,000 left.
How? How does he have any money left?
I don't know.
And you've been winning, ladies and gentlemen. Big 6, and there's some good ones.
Just download the app and answer 6 questions about Stage 2 for your shot to win. It's free to play. Don't miss out and play now while there's still some burnt ends left.
Heck yeah, most laps led, fastest lap. I like them. Good choices here. Let's see what you got, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, fans, don't let me down.
I didn't see any questions on there about Jack Stacks.
Jack Stacks. Boy, we had some of that, didn't we?
Somebody's going to win that money. Why not you? All right, Brad Keselowski chose the inside for this restart. What do you think of that?
Well, it worked for him on that opening start. And you know, the bottom lane, when you're running wide open like that, as long as he can get a good launch and the 24 Byron doesn't get to his quarter panel, William didn't get a great start originally. So let's see if he can clean that up. But a lot of it also comes from that push behind. So is Tyler Reddick going to give Brad Keselowski a nice push here?
Larry, 50 to go in the stage. Can they make it? Is it a push?
Yeah, they can make it, Mike. If we don't have a caution, they will run this all the way to the end of this first stage.
Green flag, and Keselowski takes off. There's Tyler Reddick's spot.
Step all the way up to him and break them apart if you need to. On track 18. Half back 18.
Much better start by that 24.
18 still half off of you. He can split you here. Still half off of you. Coming to you now. Still tight line outside even. Quarter. Bumper, you're clear to 20. You're clear all the way half back. Half back. Half back. 4, 1 lane lower, still half.
Yeah, you brought up a good point, Jeff. It's exactly what Brad Keselowski did not want to see. That 24, he was hoping for a big jump. And now he's down on his door right here. Very, very hard to keep holding your line down there when that car's on your outside. Taking the real estate off of turn 2 here.
But I'm impressed with Brad hanging tight, you know, on that bottom lane. That car takes off really, really good. He might even squeeze ahead of him. And if he could take that air away from the nose of the 24, which he does right here, Great job by Brad Keselowski maintaining that lead.
Keselowski has led every lap today, and here comes Reddick to the outside of Harvick and chasing after the 2 leaders.
Well, Reddick's, his line hasn't come in yet, Mike. What's he doing down there around the bottom?
Well, that's where they're putting him. You know, those spotters are up there telling him, if you're Willie B's spotter, Brad Keselowski's spotter, you say, hey, this 8 car, he's fast and he wants the outside. Do not give it to him.
But I love this for what kind of racing we're going to see throughout the day, where we're going to see him run around the bottom for a few laps while there's grip in these Goodyear tires and then start gravitating towards that top lane. That's going to open up some great room for racing.
You saw that 4 car really dive it in hard into turn 3, trying to get underneath Tyler Reddick. Washed up, had to bail out of the throttle, and then this 20 and the 5 of Kyle Larson jumped right all over him. You hear it right there in that in car. Not much, if any, lift out of the throttle. All but wide open right now early on.
Jamie?
Just update Tyler Reddick. You guys remember his best finish of the year was at Homestead where he finished second. Well, his crew chief told me they set that car up to be good up top only. Well, here, they did not want to put themselves in that box. They really wanted to focus on making this 8 car work better in the middle and the bottom of the track, not just at the top. And it looks like they've done that the first part of this race.
Oh, it's working all right as he's maintaining a great margin on 4th.
That's it. Goes right back to that long shot. We were talking about that in the pre-race, Jeff. 60-1 odds on him. That cat can make somebody a lot of money today.
Yeah, how about you put your money on, because that thing does look good.
There was 1 penalty on pit stops. Chase Briscoe was too fast exiting and did not enter the pit single file, so he started out back. As William Byron again tries taking the lead from Brad Keselowski, something nobody's yet been able to do today.
Well, Brad's been working that lower line, and the 24 William Byron started going up top, and I think he started gaining on Brad Keselowski as they went into turn 3. Now you see Brad running right through the middle of the racetrack.
Well, here's one I've never heard before. They are posting Ryan Newman. He is going to have to come to the pits, and the penalty, Larry, is for a body modification made during his pit stop.
Oh, I've heard of it many times, and we've seen it for years. The old jack man, the old knee in the side, put a little flare in front of those rear tires. And obviously NASCAR saw it happening, and they're going to have to come to pit road, not only serve a penalty, they're going to have to repair whatever they did to that 6 car.
Well, I know you've seen it, Larry, but have you seen it called like this during a race?
Absolutely. They brought Jamie McMurray and the 1 car in a number of years ago, and they were there for several laps. Of course, that's something that I never did.
No, of course not.
I thought he tripped and fell into it. It was
Larry just didn't get caught. Well, and you know what? I'm not surprised, because this is a 1.5 miles where you need a lot of downforce on this race car. We already saw in the first 25 laps 1.3 seconds of fall off with these Goodyear tires. So you need all the side force, all the downforce that you could possibly get at this 1.5 mile racetrack.
So we're told that the pit crewman pulled on the right side skirt, right near the exhaust exit, and that's what they're going to have to modify to the NASCAR official's satisfaction.
And Mike, that's just downforce. That puts downforce in the car, pulling that, making a little flare in front of that rear tire.
He was.
Oh, you can see it. They just went a little too far.
Put the wrong guy. No, you can't put a jack guy. I need that little tire changer to pull on that thing. That guy had way too much muscle.
So Newman back on track, but he loses a lap in the process.
See Kyle Larson able to complete that pass for 4th place on Kevin Harvick.
Brad Keselowski out front, but Kyle Larson riding that Ricky Hendrick tribute paint scheme toward the front. You want to lead, you're going to have to pass the deuce. The nicest thing I've ever heard Kurt Busch say.
Good, thanks, Kurt.
Oh.
It's almost like he knows me. Jeff, we'd lose you in a corner.
Oh, here we go.
Anybody seen Jeff?
I was too busy winning a couple races here at this track here in Kansas.
Meanwhile, note the somewhat high line that Brad Keselowski is running. He's led every one of 47 laps so far, but he's not really in the high line, is he?
No, when it comes to a racetrack like this, all right, it's just like, it's how much are you willing to go for it at the end? How much are you going to put it on the line? Brad leading this race, he's running, all right, Brad, they're coming on you on the outside, run that outside. Okay, so you can see 3, maybe 4 foot gap on his right door. Now you look at the 8 car and the 5 car, Kyle Larson. Watch this, Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson. They are right on the fence. That's a commitment, Jeff, that's very hard to do.
Yeah, there's Tyler Reddick right up there against the fence. Now, the 5 car, Kyle Larson, he's got his car working pretty good. He can come off that top, but I don't know if he's going to be able to complete that pass on Reddick. But, you know, I think that you've got guys like the 2 of Keselowski. They're saying, okay, hey, I might go up there and find some speed, but I don't want to take the right side of my car off just yet. It's way too early for that.
Meanwhile, Alex Bowman in 17th may have an issue. Regan.
Well, that's right, Mike. A potential problem developing for the 48 car. Right now, Alex Bowman just said on the radio, his alternator is down to 13.2 and dropping. That means the battery is not charging like it needed to. He has turned off all the fans in that race car, including the driver fans and the fans on the front end right now.
Low voltage. Let's go up to the 5th place car, Kyle Busch and Jamie.
Kyle Busch is going in the right direction, but I'm listening to him talk about his car, and he's using code words, Mike. I can't really understand what he's feeling. Listen to this.
It needs to track better. It does not line track. I almost feel like I'm tighter this run than I was the first run. 10-4. That was a little wedge out there. Red, yellow, Nevada. Red, yellow, Nevada. Copy.
We're in Kansas, Kyle. I don't know what audible that is.
He's been hanging out with Andy Reid, too. They're all talking in code now, right? They don't want anybody stealing their play.
Omaha right there.
Yeah.
So we talked earlier, Clint, you mentioned it about taking the line away from the guy behind you. And Tyler Reddick is pretty content right now running that high line, letting Kyle Larson try to work by him on those lower lanes because it's not going to be able to. I think it's going to be very hard for him to get it done. Might use up those tires, but that's exactly what I see Reddick doing right now by staying up top and just staying patient.
Oh, 100%. And now you're looking for opportunities. If you're Kyle Larson, we knew after his performance at Las Vegas and Atlanta that he was going to be a factor in this mile-and-a-half race at Kansas Speedway. That being said, he didn't know he was going to have to deal with that 8 car being in front of him this time. That's something he's going to have to try to figure out. Is that lap traffic? How to get around? Do you lean on your boys in the pits? Somehow, some way, he might need some help getting around this thing.
Well, they're closing in on 2nd place William Byron, Jamie.
How about William Byron and this streak that he's on 8 straight top 10 finishes, and it all started with the big win at Homestead. This is the exact same race car he drove to victory lane. Crew Chief Rudy Fugel said, we're not going to use these cars next year, and if we have a good one, we're going to keep it and keep it in the rotation. As far as setup, he said he used a little bit of Homestead and a little bit of Vegas.
Well, that's interesting because we were having a conversation over the commercial break with Larry McReynolds just talking about what's the differences. We know how strong William Byron was at Homestead. He won that race. So what can you take from that racetrack? That's a more abrasive racetrack. Corner shapes are a little bit different. Banking slightly different. But, hey, maybe there's something in the setup and the driving style that actually do match up. Well, I see Larson desperately wanting to get to the outside of the 8 car. Tyler Reddick shoots to the bottom. You know, one of the things I've seen, Clint, as they've closed in on William Byron, I think that by not having as much air on their car, it's starting to really affect the balance of the race car and building up, you know, those tire pressures, because you see him just peeking out every so often.
Oh, absolutely. And collectively, they were both catching the 24 William Byron. As they caught him, you see the 8 car. Now he's looking for different real estate. He's moving down a little bit. Kyle Larson shot clear to the bottom. That's how you try to get around one of those guys, using somebody else as a pick.
25 to go in stage 1. This is the most laps Brad Keselowski has ever, the 60 laps so far. So here are today's Ford Performance track facts. The Blue Oval has 9 wins at Kansas. Mark Martin, the first one for Jack Roush in 2005, and Joey Logano for Roger Penske last fall, the most recent. But Keselowski's lead may now be in jeopardy. We've got a new 2nd place car. Here's how Kyle Larson got to 2nd place. First, his move on Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, Tyler, I think, when he's been behind the 24, William Byron's been upsetting the balance of that race car. Opens up the top lane for the 5 of Kyle Larson to just shoot right on by. Clint, I'm not so sure. He didn't actually just say, hey, my car is maybe fading a little bit in traffic here. You go ahead.
I think it was the same thing. And then Kyle was forced to do the same thing and move down. And that's a gamble right there, trying to make your car turn because he just passed that 8. A lot of times you go up there and try to be making this move on the 24. Yeah, it'll put you 3 wide past both of you. But right here, I think is, again, teammates working with one another. Got down, made a good slide job, got up in front of it.
Well, and I just think that goes to show you how good this 5 car is, that he was actually able to pull off the top lane and still get a run and get side by side with the 24 of William Byron. And now he has closed the gap in a hurry to our leader, Brad Keselowski.
I mean, if you close your eyes, this is exactly what you saw, the speed out of this 5 car, that race he won in Las Vegas. I mean, it's like it's just the same package, the same program. Just polish this thing up, buff it a little bit, send it to Kansas.
Well, Hendrick teammates Byron and Larson have combined to lead 60% of the laps that we have raced on 1.5-mile tracks this year coming into this race.
And guys, Larson is on the throttle just so much more than leader Brad Keselowski right now. Brad is off the throttle, not completely, but a lot more than Larson.
Larson to the bottom, off turn 4.
And that's that move I was talking about, Mike. He's just able to, carry the speed, but yet get out of that lane and get side by side. Can he complete the pass down here in turns 1 and 2?
I don't think so. That lapper gave him fit right there and enabled Brad to get back up beside him side draft and take his line away right there.
I'm not sure Joey Gase moved up on him. Looked like he came down to try to catch a little sniff off of the 15.
Yeah, he did, and it was just situational, And again, when I say situational, yes, that was in their lap right at there, but I guarantee you Kyle Larson saw that coming, getting in and clear back into turn 3 or maybe even on the back straightaway, and tried to time it to where he'd catch him. Almost worked, didn't quite.
Well, I think if he's going to complete this pass, he's going to have to time the side draft a little bit better and actually pull back the 2-car Brad Keselowski. Let's see if he gets that opportunity again.
8th place. Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin have been swapping that spot back and forth. Neither one seems to have a clear advantage.
It's going to be interesting to see. Brad's going to, hey, that's a champion of this sport you're trying to pass right there. He's going to move up. I asked him in pre-race, like, how do you keep these guys behind you? How? Doing exactly what he's doing right there. Take that line away from him.
Something may be wrong with Denny Hamlin. He was racing Christopher Bell. He's fallen way back. Ryan Blaney just blew past him, and Hamlin is fading.
Yeah, at first I thought he just lost some momentum when he was racing with his teammate with Christopher Bell, but now I'm not so sure. He's lost a couple of positions. You can hear him, how much he's out of the throttle right there, Clint.
Yeah. Did you see how loose Ryan Blaney was running that wall like that? When I say commitment, folks, that's committed. Hard on the fuel, almost wide open, and look how yawed out that thing is. Now he's coming across that seam like I talked about earlier, kind of got his right rear on it. Watch that thing dance.
13 laps to go in stage 1, and we'll keep it right here for you as we go Fox side by side.
I am no longer in the shadow. I am the new horizon, the beginning of a new legacy.
Finally, Chase Elliott gets to burn down the house.
And the continuation of an old one. I am the sound of silence to all the doubters. And the deafening roar of a siren in Dawsonville. I am the number you will see in the stands, and the one covered in confetti. I am not here to brag, just win. I am Chase Elliott. I am NASCAR.
Fender bender, take one. Tonight's matchup, me versus an ugly fender bender. If I can eke out a win, it's going to be a miracle, baby.
Mr. Vitale, it wouldn't be a miracle because Geico gives you a team of experts to help manage your claim.
It's going to be a nail biter.
No, the Geico team is there for you 24/7.
Geico is awesome, baby. Too much?
I think we got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
The strength of a community. The bonds we build should never be broken. Because it's that strength that finds the courage to make something good truly great.
truck month, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2021 Ram 1500.
Yeah, Reggie. It's always tough having to say goodbye.
Whoa, hold up.
Oh, the honey butter chicken biscuit is $1.99 all month.
This is great. I'm never leaving now.
We made the deal too good.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's and get the breakfast you deserve.
Tucker Carlson Originals. It's the show America is talking about. Now, a brand new episode. Big Energy runs amok in Maine.
They're lying. They're stealing what we have here in Maine.
I want to build this power line in the worst possible place they could do it.
It's an attack against rural America.
If we don't stop this thing, the whole state of Maine will become an ugly place.
Tucker Carlson Originals. New episode available now, only on Fox Nation.
The three leaders all got together 1 lap ago, single file. Somebody went up the hill, may have scraped the wall, and that has changed the complexion of this race as Kyle Larson drifts back from leader Brad Keselowski.
And again, that's just a product of getting on that car's bumper in his wake, so to speak, and losing that air on your nose. I saw Kyle get really tight. I was like, whoa, I think he got in the fence a little bit, but got it gathered up. No harm, no foul. But again, it takes time, Jeff, to catch back up and get back in your rhythm.
Yeah, and here comes another Kyle into the picture. Look at Kyle Busch going by William Byron. Now in 4th position. He's been watching all these guys up there going back and forth, trying to pass one another, and he's got a pretty good hot rod right now himself.
Okay, let's slow this down. Why are these guys running up high, Jeff? They're riding up high because their front tires start wearing out. You try to make this track as big as possible where you're not leaning on it. Speaking of leaning on it, slide job.
Slide job.
Here we go.
Man, it's almost like I don't think Brad necessarily anticipated that move happening.
Gonna see another slide job? Better get up quick.
I don't think he's going to get there. Comes a crossover. Whoa,
Very
man.
close.
Boy, the two of Keselowski was coming up the track fast. Had to check out.
And look at that one slip up right there. All right, so that's what I was talking about. When these guys are all but wide open, he had to bail out of the throttle right there to stay off of the 5, and better yet, wrecking both of them. And when he did, got passed twice.
Kyle Larson started this race 32nd. If he can hold the lead 5 more laps, he will be the deepest starting Stage 1 winner since the beginning of stage racing. Regan.
Well, what a fun battle that was, Mike. And funny enough, 2 laps prior to Kyle Larson taking that lead right there, Cliff Daniels saw how close he had gotten to the wall a couple times, came on the radio, told him, be smart with it. We will pass him during the yellow at the stage break. I don't think Kyle listened as we saw him get the lead just now.
I tell you what, Kyle Busch is coming on strong right now. I don't know if it's lap traffic, if it's all the racing he's been doing, trying to get by our leader, Brad Keselowski, and now it just seems like that 18 of Kyle Busch starting to come to life.
But I think it was a little bit of patience, too. I think played into that. He was able to, sit back, watch that huge battle going on. Those guys wearing out their tires. He was calm, cool, collected, and now he's the one that's got the grip. But he did see that 5 car make a big slide job, and now he's going to do it to him.
He's going to do it himself.
Clear up.
Kyle Busch made a deep dive into turn 3 as they pull down on Ryan Preece, who raced in Connecticut Friday night and New Hampshire last night. It is modified. And Preece will go a lap down here as we get to the end of stage 1.
Well, we saw the 5 that Larson was able to run off that top lane earlier, but now it looks like he's just fully committed to the top lane. Now okay, go 3 wide. You see the 18 and Kyle Busch just able to wrap that bottom a little bit better.
I think Kyle's just too tight. He's going to be looking for an adjustment on this caution.
Kyle Larson, I agree.
I don't know what red, yellow, Nevada means, but it's working.
Kyle Busch restarted 6th after finishing the first 25 laps in 4th at the competition caution. And has come from 6th to the lead.
See so many of these cars that they're getting into traffic with right now, running that same line that Kyle Larson's running, but yet Kyle Busch able to go to the bottom, go to the middle. That car's working really good right now.
Well, thank you, Jimmy Hicks. Here's the deal. Kyle Busch has never lost a cup race run on his birthday.
Oh, boy.
Richmond 2009 is the last time it happened, and, of course, he won. So there.
There you have it.
That guy always pulls through. If you ever need a little extra motivation,
birthday boy,
do it on your birthday.
Heck yeah. Can't find anybody else to give you a present, just go get it yourself. Even if you got to go to Nevada or wherever he called that deal from.
Happy birthday, Kyle Busch, Stage 1 winner.
Awesome.
And for 6th, Chase Elliott holds off Kevin Harvick. All 3 of those guys I just mentioned have yet to visit victory lane this year. Can you believe it? 36 years old today. Kyle Busch is your Stage 1 winner. He'd win it again the next year and become the track's first 3-time winner in May of 2014, since joined by Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, and Joey Logano.
Boy, I was there.
That's way back.
And honestly, I think I may have had more fun than you did that day. You won the race. I was down at turn 1 on top of an old Winnebago.
Shocking. Shocking.
All right, the end of Stage 1, Kyle Busch from Larson, Reddick, Keselowski, and Byron. Keselowski led the first 72 laps. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson have each had a turn at the front. Let's see what the pit crews can do.
Boys, we got ourselves a race. This has been fun to watch so far.
Regan?
Well, Kyle Larson, a great run from 32nd to 2nd during that first stage. Said that he overheated his tires as he was trying to catch and pass the 2-car Brad Keselowski. Right now, he just wants that race car to be a little bit freer. They're going to check the right side as well for damage. Jamie?
Kyle Busch in the 18 said he felt a little bit tighter to start that run, and he said, I want a red, yellow, Nevada again. It worked last time. Let's do it. 4 tires for the 18. Tyler Reddick, they were really hoping to get some stage points, and they did, coming in 3rd there. Needs a turn better in turn 3. And the 2 of Brad Keselowski said that track car adjustment did not move the needle last time. He asked for an air pressure adjustment in the left rear, as well as a wedge adjustment.
Here's a Ram race off pit road, and Kyle Larson will pick up a spot. Tyler Reddick, as well as for the 2nd time in a row, Kyle Busch drops 2. 5 spots up for Kurt Busch.
Let's call Kyle Busch that stage winner. Hey, Kyle Busch, it's Boyer up in the booth. You got us?
Holy cow, you guys still exist?
Oh, cold.
Hey, man, speaking of that, how about you, buddy? This has been a week at Kyle Busch. You won that iRacing race with Mahomes and I. You won the truck race last night, leading stage points. You going to give yourself a birthday present here today?
Well, that would sure be nice. We're got a good piece right now. The M&M mixed Camry is fast, man. It feels good. So we're just kind of tweaking on her a little bit. Those guys got really racing there and burnt their stuff up, so it gave us an opportunity to pounce at the end, and we'll see what we can do the rest of the day. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. Keep it up, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thought you were going to ask him what red, yellow Nevada is.
Yes. Why didn't you ask him that?
Man, that was a
Kyle Busch.
I want another chance.
Page 1. After pit stops, let's give you the tale of the Kyles. Both Larson and Busch with the exact same time down pit lane, in and out. But Kyle Busch's team had trouble on the right front, costing them 2 positions. Let's see what's coming up on Friday Night SmackDown.
It's a WrestleMania rematch when Seth freaking Rollins battles the Swiss Cyborg Cesaro. A special throwback edition of Friday Night SmackDown kicks off NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway. Live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Everybody's got a throwback, including Friday Night SmackDown.
And Mike, you see Tyler Reddick there in 2nd place. That team just had their fastest stop of the year at a 12.7. Nice work there. I'll tell you what, it's good when you got a fast race car and you're getting it done on pit road.
Tyler Reddick commenting on his pit stop.
I'd rather you be a little short than a little long if you're going to come in, okay, pal? Yeah, I got lost. Not going to lie, for some reason I thought my pit stalls before it was. I got a little bit off.
Yeah, you know, in order to make that stop fluid and be as fast as possible, there is a mark that you just have to hit as consistent as possible. So it sounds like he came in a little hot, went a little long. Good discussion there.
Kyle Larson, your leader, as they pack him up coming to the green.
Well, that outside line was really formed right there.
Were they 4 or 5 wide going into turn 1? Oh, those spotters up on the roof are busy right now.
Whoa, big block right there. Chase Elliott on Martin Truex. He said, not so bad. I'm coming through anyway. Get out.
That's somebody we haven't talked a whole lot about today is Martin Truex Jr. Been quiet until this restart.
Truex moves to 6th. There's the battle for 2nd.
And we've seen before Brad Keselowski really fast on the shorter runs. Fades a little bit on the long runs when he lost that lead, but right there you can see the power of that 2 car being able to stick down on the bottom, now go to the outside.
And the aggression on these restarts, they always vamp up. Everybody's made adjustments. They know what to expect. They know what they have for a hot ride underneath of them. Now it just keeps getting more aggressive and more aggressive.
And how about this battle between 2nd of Tyler Reddick and the 18 of Kyle Busch? They're going after it. Here comes the slide job.
And a quick clear up, because it's just that fast, too. If you don't get cleared, you get side drafted off of you, and you're probably going to lose more than 1 spot right there.
You know, something we haven't talked a lot about today, Mike, is the wind. The wind's blowing pretty heavy down that back straightaway, which means it's a crosswind, turns 3 and 4. We saw right there Tyler Reddick up high in the banking as Kyle Busch went to the inside. I almost wondered, did the wind have some kind of effect there that allowed Kyle Busch to slide up in front of him?
Tell you what, you see this 19 of Martin Truex. He is on the move. It makes you wonder, with that Kyle Busch out there in the lead, did his teammate, did he learn something? Whatever that Nevada was that they called, did he get in on that?
Well, he just got 3 wide going into turn 1. Jamie.
Well, you guys, the Joe Gibbs Racing cars, all 4 of them are very different. I have all 4, and all 4 crew chiefs that we need to learn, so that way we all have to try something different and put our heads together. The 19 as well, they took a huge swing at it. James Small said, even though we've been good here, we need to evolve. So we're taking a swing at it. We have 2 wins in the bank, and that allows us to do it. His problems today, just too tight, but they just made a track bar adjustment for him, and his car is waking up.
Well, Truex got a great run off the corner and is going to have the gap to the next car before they get to turn 3.
And there's just great battles all over the place. Here's that battle for 6th place between Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. Give it to Chase Elliott.
And just ahead of them, Truex and the 8 almost traded paint coming off turn number 4 side by side.
I really think the 8 of Tyler Reddick, it just takes him a few laps to get going and that high line start to come in. Then the balance of his race car gets stronger and stronger.
Well, I think the time over distance is a big part of that, right? I think it takes time when you, obviously the shortest way around is the best way around, the fastest way around, but as these tires wear out, then the largest way around, you don't pull on that wheel, you can make that turn into speed.
Well, yeah, that bottom lane, you know, you're really holding that steering wheel tight to try to keep the car low. That's going to scrub speed and your straightaway speed. So, you know, it seems to me like that top groove, as the tires start to not necessarily wear, but just fade and grip, it seems like that momentum off the top is where the top groove really pays off.
Martin Truex has the momentum. He's come from 13th on the restart to 4th. As we look in on this battle, back at around 20th spot, and now move up to 7th place, Blaney and Harvick. Second place on your left, Kyle Busch and Keselowski.
See right there, Ryan Blaney with a big run coming off that top lane as the 4 of Kevin Harvick slid up in front of him. He used that draft to get that run. Now Harvick going after the 9. His car's working really good right now.
They're side by side. That's going to bring Ryan Blaney right to them with a big run. And nowhere to go.
Tell you what, Harvick, he's going to, if he can get by the 8 of Reddick out there on the outside, he's going to gain 3 spots here in 1 lap.
Now he's in trouble. He needed to get up, and Reddick was right at the outside. He could have completed the pass on Chase Elliott, but when he got such a big run through 1 and 2 on the exit of 2, he almost run right to the door of the 8 car, had to lift, and that's how Chase Elliott gets right back by. It's so frustrating.
Just couldn't quite get clear, right?
That's all you need. I mean, he was clear on the task at hand, trying to get around the 9. The problem was the 8 was in the way.
Chase Elliott able to slide, just squeeze up for the front bumper of the 8 of Tyler Reddick. See how the air disturbs the flow over the hood of that 8 car as that hood flap just started going crazy because of the turbulent air there. And here comes Harvick.
That was thread the needle right there. There was not a lot of room to the front or rear.
William Byron not quite as good on this run as we've seen him, and here comes Denny Hamlin in the 11 FedEx Toyota.
Did you see that big wiggle out of him as he got up into turn 1? I'd say that hot rod's loose. That is hard to keep the throttle down when that thing's dancing like that underneath of you.
So Kyle Larson has now led 3 times for 19 laps. Larson leads Kyle Busch by 1.3 seconds. 1.2 seconds, Chevy versus Toyota, with Brad Keselowski's Ford in 3rd, and 4th, the Toyota of Martin Truex. Larry.
Yeah, let's talk about the subway right combination for Martin Truex Jr. Kansas Speedway and all 1.5 tracks. Martin has 2 wins here at Kansas, swept the 2017 races, and 3 consecutive top 10 finishes here. Our 3 races on 1.5 tracks this year, all top 10 finishes. How about 168 career starts on 1.5 tracks, 12 wins, second 13 times, 86 top 10 finishes, and Mike, he has led over 4,000 laps on 1.5 tracks. That could be the subway right combination for his 3rd win of 2021.
Thanks, Larry. His teammate Denny Hamlin up 4 from the start of this stage, just passing Tyler Reddick for 7th place.
Well, we've seen where Denny was struggling a little bit with maybe some front grip, but Chris Gabehart, crew chief on that number 11, seems to have made some good adjustments, and now that car's coming to the front.
But on the flip side of that, I don't know if it was an adjustment or what, but that 40, I was looking at the 42 right here, the 8 of Tyler Reddick really seems to struggle on this run. It's kind of moved down off of his line where he's go-to running up high. I don't know if that's because he's too tight, too loose, doesn't trust it being up there by the wall.
So, you know, we see cloud cover here, so the sun's coming in and out of these clouds. It can definitely affect track temp and grip. We're also seeing this racetrack start to lay some more rubber down. That groove is just all over the place.
So Joey Logano's reported in. He feels like the car has a hole in its nose. What would make him say that?
Won't turn.
Yeah, just lack of front downforce. Maybe even a little bit too much drag as it goes down the straightaway.
Floats the nose, a lot of drag down the straightaway. Won't turn. I felt that a lot. Floating the nose, you know, stuff like that. It's all usually, a lot of times from my experience, you know, something like that, a comment like that would kind of tip off maybe a packer, you know, your splitter gap, stuff like that.
There is definitely damage right below the right headlight of that 22 car of Joey Logano's.
Or the fact that there is a hole in it.
Or Larry, I want to know, did that happen from this battle? We have been watching the 22 of Logano, the 42 of Chastain, swapping back and forth. You got the young guy and you got the experienced guy. I'm wondering, Clint, how patient is Joey Logano going to be right here?
Yeah, I would certainly, watching that battle, that's exactly where that hole in the nose came from. It's the back of the 42.
Denny Hamlin to 6th over Kevin Harvick, and setting after the 9 of Chase Elliott. Now let's go back to Joey Logano and Jamie.
Well, we reported Joey Logano was under the weather, had food poisoning, was only about 80% today. So, Mike, I've been listening to his radio. wondering how he's feeling. Well, he was just screaming, and he sounded like his old self. He's mad at the 42, as you guys were just alluding to.
Boy, Larry, I wish you'd have set me up a little bit better. You showed me that, man, it feels like the hole. Mike asked me, what's that like? And then I threw everything I had at it but the kitchen sink, and then you tell me it was actually a real hole. Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to make sure you knew you had a hole in case you wanted red, yellow, Nevada.
A little back and forth between Elliott and Hamlin.
But, you know, you want to make that guy work really hard. You've seen that he's, you know, gaining position and he's coming and getting closer to your rear bumper, but you also know that, hey, I can use my defenses, that dirty air off of my car to hopefully slow his progress down, maybe heat those tires up a little bit and prevent him from passing me. So you got to put in a valiant effort no matter who you are. Right now, that's the case for Chase Elliott, but once Denny Hamlin gets a good run, you know that he's going to be able to make that pass. Then you're going to give him a little extra room.
See these guys moving around and looking for those seams a little bit more than they were at the first. Obviously, this track's heating up. It's also rubbering up. It's getting a lot of rubber down on the racetrack as it progresses, and all of that takes away grip. So you see him right here moving down. Now he's going to find that bottom seam right there. It seems like whether you put your left sides or the right sides on it, you'll find some grip right there.
Things are heating up between Ryan Blaney and Tyler Reddick. This is for 8th place.
I don't know about you, Clint, but when I had somebody that close to my rear bumper, I wasn't putting one of my hands out the window.
I don't know that was a clear up. I think the 8 car lifted for him, or else that would have been a wreck and probably wrecked them both.
Still worthy of a wave, though.
Green flag pit stops coming up. 113 laps.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
118 laps complete in Kansas. Here are your Toyota top performers. Kyle Busch in 2nd, Mark Truex in 4th, Denny Hamlin on pit road, Christopher Bell in 12th, and Bubba Wallace 21st. Jamie?
And Denny Hamlin comes down pit road. They made it better with the adjustments on the last stop there, so they like the direction that they're going, but started a bit off from where they expected in this race.
Martin Truex in. That's Ryan Blaney right behind him. And Austin Dillon joins him on pit road, which is about to be a busy place. Jamie?
And the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. just too tight, sliding those front tires. Once a bigger adjustment this time around. An interesting 12 of Ryan Blaney thought he may have had a hole in the nose earlier in this race. Just said he was slamming the splitter so much he may have damaged it. You see a big wedge adjustment right there for the 12.
Corey LaJoie is in now. Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott on pit road. Kurt Busch. Here's Regan.
Well, Kevin Harvick in the 4 car, like the last adjustments they made on that race car. They're going the right direction. Not quite as loose getting into the corner, tight in the middle, but wants more of the same. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski, better entry there with those adjustments on the last stop. The bad news is now he's tight from the center off. So there's that balance of not going too far with your adjustments to hurting something else on your race car. The 18 of Kyle Busch peeling off now. He told his team, whatever the 5 has, I don't have, and I want that. So they're going to work on this car here, make more adjustments for the 18 of Kyle Busch.
They didn't have a code word for that, huh?
Nope, they didn't.
All right. And leader Kyle Larson joins the pit road parade. Regan.
Well, whatever that 5 car does have, he's not telling. All he's saying right now is it's really good. Just give me a little bit freer. Happy with that race car right now, though.
Matthew Benedetto in and out. Bubba Wallace is in. Chase Briscoe. Joey Logano done with his service. And Ricky Stenhouse is the race leader in the JTG Doherty 47. His teammate Ryan Preece got the free pass on the end of stage caution flag and just made his pit stop.
Such such a hard
Mike, these 5 or 6 drivers that have stayed out there, it's probably their only hope of trying to make something happen.
Well, not unusual for us to see Brian Patty try to pull something like this off too, you know, and we've seen it work for him. So if that's the strategy that they have kind of got themselves, we got a spin on pit road.
And around goes the 51, Cody Ware.
No caution.
He gets it righted. He is off the racetrack, so no threat to competition, and we stay green.
Yeah, I was watching. He just got a little bit too deep around the corner and just couldn't get the car wound up to try to get on the pit road underneath that the orange box. So clearly going to be a penalty here.
I can promise you there was a lot of crew chiefs that saw that on the pit box and oh no. No caution came out there. That was big. That could have been a huge moment in this race.
That's right.
Right there was Stenhouse and Brian Patty, crew chief there. They were hoping that caution was going to come out.
Patty is not happy right now. I can promise you he's in an official's ear.
Well, that could have put the first half dozen on a lap by themselves if that caution had come out. Of course, wave-arounds would have fixed some of that, but then the other cars would be restarting on worn tires. But no caution that time. Eric Jones is in. He was one of those 6 that had not been on pit road since lap numbers back in the 20s. And Eric Almirola now in.
See Bubba Wallace, even though the 5 of Larson's not our leader right now, if this thing cycles through all the way, that's Bubba Wallace trying to stay on the lead lap. That's why he's fighting with the 5 car so hard.
And excuse me, that wasn't Almirola, who was 1 lap down. He'd already made his stop. That was Quinn Houff. So Cody Ware back around for a penalty pass down pit road.
And you saw right there at our leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on those older tires. You saw the one of Kurt Busch go by him. That's the difference between new tires versus old tires. Saw some fall off all the way up to about 2 seconds off of what the fastest lap times we've seen on fresh tires. Now Larson was able to get back by Bubba Wallace there.
And that's all it takes right there. So how is he much faster? You heard Bubba have to lift out of the throttle right there. His tires are wore out. That little bit is all it takes.
Ricky Stenhouse is no stranger to this strategy. He and Brian Patty have been together for a while. They've tried some very contrary ways of getting through a stage. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, I tell you what, I had Brian Patty as a crew chief, and he never backed down from a good gamble. He would always, roll the dice, and a lot of times bailed us out of deep holes that the driver, me, put us in. So, yeah, you're right, man. He's always willing to try something.
Now, when there's a crew chief like that, I always wonder what kind of poker player are they? Because guys that are willing to take risks like that are usually pretty good poker players.
And in addition, I mean, if you don't have the fastest car, why do the same things exactly the way the fastest cars do it?
If that caution would have come out, he'd been the smartest man here.
And occasionally that'll happen.
And guys, Stenhouse, Alfredo, Suarez, McDowell, Custer, fuel-wise, they can go about another 20, 21, 22 laps.
Quinn Houff back in for a second stop. Matt Mills, running his first Cup race, is in. And Justin Haley making a stop. So we continue under green with Ricky Stenhouse owning a 6.5 second lead on Anthony Alfredo as we take you Fox side by side.
Oh, great. The show's starting.
Come on. Just trust me. Oh, trust you, like with the dollar oysters.
I don't think those were oysters.
You survived, so.
We can't go that way.
Watch this. They'll think we're VIP. Wow. He does think we're VIP. And backstage. Trust me now?
I never doubted you. I did for a second, but it's gone now. I trust you.
The all-new Sienna. Toyota. Let's go places.
I'm ordering some burritos.
Oh, nice.
Burritos? Get a freshly made footlong from Subway instead.
with crisp veggies on freshly baked bread. Just order in the app.
Huh, okay.
Try the oven roasted turkey with banana peppers for a little extra kick.
Kick. I get it.
Oh. Get a freshly made footlong from Subway instead.
Choose better, be better. And now save when you order in the app.
Subway, eat fresh.
Attention runners, report to the starting line. Runners, report to the starter.
You don't become a runner who breaks 8 world records after age 65 without a serious support system. Kathy Martin has one in Medicare from Blue Cross Blue Shield. She won't go a day without the right card because she can't go a day without running. The Medicare coverage trusted by more doctors. This is the benefit of Blue. Learn more at benefitofblue.com.
I am in awe of your bravery, your selflessness, your strength. For the millions of ways you keep us safe, I am only here because of your sacrifice. And I am not going to stop until each and every one of you is recognized for what you do for this country. And for that, I am forever grateful. I am NASCAR.
Brace for impact. It's Friday Night SmackDown on Fox.
The hottest live show in all of entertainment.
The baddest superstars on the planet are unleashed in prime time. All new Friday Night SmackDown, sponsored by Progressive at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Just past halfway in Kansas. Ricky Stenhouse in front of Kyle Larson. The big difference is Kyle Larson has made his pit stop, and he is 8 seconds behind the leader. Let's make a quick review of pit stops of the lead cars. And that is the complete lap, including the pit stop. Getting on and off pit road.
Yeah, you can see right there Kyle Larson and that team. I mean, that's what you call executing flawlessly, to be able to put together and gap yourself to Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin. And I got to imagine this 18 car of Kyle Busch not too happy, even though the pit crew did a nice job. Driver did a good job on pit road, but somewhere else there was some more time lost on and off pit road.
Because right now Busch is 7 seconds back of Larson, and 3 positions, all of those being cars that have yet to stop.
And Mike, before this green flag sequence started, the 18 was about 3 seconds behind. So somewhere along the way, coming onto pit road, as well as the get up to speed lap exiting pit road and on the racetrack, Kyle Larson made up 3 seconds on the 18.
That's a lot. Jeff, from start finish line to the entrance of pit road, Kyle Larson was 2 seconds faster than Kyle Busch.
Wow, and I just wonder, maybe did Kyle Busch get caught up in some lap traffic or something that really slowed him down coming around to get to the pit road entry?
William Byron ran up front early, but now he is back in 17th there with Matt DiBenedetto. Jamie?
Mike, you're right. He was so strong earlier and started on the front row. He started to get loose, and he wondered if 3 into 3 was just a matter of the wind pushing him. But this car has just got extremely loose. 8 out of the 10 on the scale. They made a big adjustment with air pressure and track bar there to try to help him. Making up a little bit of ground now, making small adjustments there.
And you could see that. We talked about it earlier on that in-car camera. He was sideways getting into 1, swatting flies, getting into 3 as well. Both things.
But it just goes to show you, just one little adjustment, maybe slightly different set of tires, and the car can go from being one of the best cars out there to midfield.
Cole Custer is in. And this would be a scheduled stop. He was one of those drivers stretching the fuel mileage out. And here Stenhouse crosses the line, completing 140 laps. Kyle Busch trying to rebound here.
I don't know where the pace is going to come from, but we don't have it for the 5. So balance-wise, it trends its way a little bit looser to start, and then the later you go, you get tight for us. I don't know. I hate to say keep bringing it up because it just kind of edgy. Lap 10 to 20, and it's all right after that, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he didn't sound too frustrated, but what I am hearing out of Kyle Busch is that I don't know if there's much more we could do to this car to make up what we're lacking to right now, who he feels like is his biggest competitor, the 5 of Kyle Larson.
And that's good experience. That's experience in the race car, because when you have a car disappearing in your windshield, it pulls you in to try to make an adjustment and chase that rabbit. Knowing what you have for a race car, your capabilities, that's a very smart decision right there. Don't let them try to over-adjust on this thing, get us in trouble, and be worse than we are right now.
But now those two drivers, their last 2 laps were only 3/100ths of a second difference.
Well, and if you document Kyle Busch's season so far, I mean, this is, and by the way, this is Kyle Busch, right? I mean, we've seen where he has not had a great year. And right now he's having the best run of the entire season, and he's still not happy. That's the Kyle Busch that we know.
And he won last night.
And Monday
in the truck race.
What beat me Monday? Me and poor old Pat.
I was going to say, well,
we helped him start.
How hard was that? No. I mean, it was iRacing. I've seen you. I've experienced you in an iRacing rig.
Kyle Larson has Ricky Stenhouse in sight. We'll see how long Stenhouse can stay out before he needs to pit. Over Ricky Stenhouse, let's welcome team sponsor Dr. Pepper back to NASCAR.
Dr. Pepper on the return to NASCAR as one of the founding partners of 2311 Racing. Whether launching a NASCAR team or introducing the world to their all-new Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, together, 2311 and Dr. Pepper will deliver excitement all season long as they bring fans the flavor they deserve on the way to victory lane. So buckle up, race fans, for a new flavor of racing this season with Dr. Pepper, 2311 Racing, and Bubba Wallace behind the wheel.
Ricky Stenhouse has now made his pit stop, having surrendered the lead to Kyle Larson. He is in and out as we continue under green. Daniel Suarez is the only lead lap car that is not yet pitted.
Well, I thought that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was committed to this strategy, but Suarez is fully committed.
Riding in 6th place. There's Larson, your leader. 7.5 seconds on Kyle Busch. Hamlin, Keselowski, Elliott. And at 9th place, you're riding with Kevin Harvick. Trying to take that spot from Tyler Reddick. Nope, Reddick goes by.
Hey, this is the guy that's been on the move right here. We documented Kyle Busch sort of losing some pace of that green flag sequence, but somebody that has not, and that's Denny Hamlin, his teammate. And I like what I see out of this 11 FedEx Toyota is how, now right there you heard him have to get out of the throttle. I think this car's still a little bit tight, but he's able to move out of the lane of the car in front of him and come off that top and run a little bit lower line, keep that momentum.
Daniel Suarez becomes the last car on the lead lap to make this green flag stop. He was in 6th place at the time he came in. Looking back from Kevin Harvick, the Ford Performance Cam at Christopher Bell.
Well, you got Harvick working on Reddick, but then you got Christopher Bell's getting a big run on Harvick. See, Harvick goes to that bottom line. I'm pretty sure it's because Reddick is running that top line, so he's trying to make something work on the bottom. Actually, he's fallen back a little bit from Reddick, so Christopher Bell just really gaining on the 4 car of Kevin Harvick, and now has that run in the move to the outside.
It's Tim Fedewa, Harvick's spotter. Let's go back to this green flag pit cycle, which seemingly took forever waiting for Ricky Stenhouse, but comparing Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch.
We could see there the 5 of Kyle Larson just really gained a ton from turn 3 to the entry of pit road. Almost wonder, was there a slower car in front of Kyle Busch that slowed him down, or maybe he was just being real conservative, not wanting to make a mistake coming to pit road.
He could certainly be onto something, because he also came from the outside lane, you know, where Larson was kind of running on the bottom when they entered, and then you see got beat a lot on the exit. And I'm telling you, the exit of this is big, because it almost feels off camber, doesn't it, Jeff? When you take off in there, you're trying to make it turn, and Mike, you're trying to keep as much momentum as you can, but those front tires just simply won't turn, and eventually you got to lift.
Well, it's not wide open on that flat apron as you leave on the exit of pit road. And matter of fact, they actually have an infield road course here at Kansas Speedway, and so when you leave this pit road, there's some pretty heavy bumps over there that you have to navigate over before you can get to the throttle aggressively on the exit.
4 to go in stage 2. Pretty well dominated by Kyle Larson, but for the green flag segment after Larson pitted, where Ricky Stenhouse led for 23 laps. Still 17 cars on the lead lap, the last of those Alex Bowman, with Austin Cindric, the first car 1 lap down. Looking at 11th place.
I was kind of watching here, Clint, just wanted to see if the 24 tightened that car up. I think I still saw the back of that car entering into turn 1 there get a little bit sideways. So if they can make some more adjustments, will that allow William Byron to get back up front where he was earlier? You see it just kind of sliding the back around ever so slightly. And I think it's better than it was.
But this got to be frustrating, where neither car can clear the other.
Oh, it is frustrating. You know, you probably, more than likely, he'd like to have that higher line. Kurt Busch is gonna race him as hard as he can to try to maintain that track position, but has the line that William Byron wanted until just then, as William was able to clear him.
And the frustrating part on this racetrack in particular is he's loose into the corner, Mike. That's what's very difficult and very challenging when you're trying to pass, you know, Kurt Busch and he's on the outside of you. You don't want that air taken off of you. So being loose into the corner, now he's giving you the bottom worst case scenario.
All right, green and white checkers in the air for Kyle Larson. Picks up his 4th stage win of 2021. Here's 4th place on back. Keselowski with a run, looking for another stage point. Gets it.
Got it.
And the final stage point will go to Kevin Harvick. Kyle Larson gets his 4th stage win of the season. All have come on 1.5-mile speedways. Joey Logano on the lead lap. That strategy call for Daniel Suarez has now put him 1 lap down. And Ryan Newman had a crewman make a mistake and is 2 laps down after serving out the penalty and making repairs. Time to open pit road and get ready for stage 3. Now Kyle Busch, remember, has lost 2 spots on every caution flag pit stop today, which occurred at lap 25 and at lap 80, the end of stage 1. Let's see how they fare this time. Regan.
Crew Chief Cliff Daniels just reminding Kyle Larson right now to stop short when he gets to his pit box to make for a better exit out of the stall. That race car too tight in the corners right now, both behind as well as in front of race cars, and he wants to have a little adjustment for that. The 9 car of Chase Elliott free overall, but right now they've been helping his entry. Jamie.
Birthday boy Kyle Busch said just the rear end is a little slippy once around back in the left rear of Wedge and a 4-tire stop here. The 11, his teammate, Denny Hamlin, good to start, but it migrates tight, doesn't turn as well as he wants it to. You're not going to take a big swing, just a minor air pressure adjustment. The 2 of Brad Keselowski, they said they took a step backwards with their last adjustments. He wants more rear grip, guys.
Here's the Ram race off pit road. This time Kyle Busch is able to hold station. 1 spot behind Larson, then Hamlin. Ryan Blaney up 2. Kevin Harvick up 4 positions on this stop.
Style up Kyle Larson, stage 2 winner. Hey, Kyle, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Jeff.
I love it, man. All calm and cool in there. Well, how do you follow up Talladega and that disaster, man? What a hot rod you've got right now, and won that stage. I also saw a little damage on the right rear, so you're putting it on the edge. You know, and then I saw an adjustment. So how close is this race car, and can you complete this thing?
Yeah, I got the wall a little bit on entry sometime in that first stage, so it's been fine since then. My HendrickCars.com Chevy's really good out front. Before the green flag stop, I was really good traffic. After the green flag stop, I was really tight to end that run, kind of how I was the first stage. So that's our only kind of area that I'm worried about, but yeah, hopefully we can keep adjusting on it. Maybe the clouds will come back out. We'll stay turn a little bit better.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way. That paint scheme's looking good and make a lot of folks at Hendrick really proud, so good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully get another win.
2 stages complete. Kyle Larson, once again, a stage winner on a 1.5 mile speedway. Getting set for stage 3, and we've been looking around the grandstand. Your pre-race has a fan on the left, and I believe that Timmy Hill has autographed the shirt on the right, and why not?
So the one on the left actually is representative of the guy on the right's message. No way, unless you're in the virtual world. I love Timmy Hill, but I don't think he's going to be the next Jeff Gordon. I don't think anybody's capable of that, but man, my people, look at these guys.
He never used to say that till he came up here to the booth, Mike.
Clint, that shirt was hand lettered with love. Maybe. Jamie.
Guys, a little issue for the 11 and Denny Hamlin. Chris Gabehart just came on the radio and said, our right rear has 3 lug nuts, and that's it. 1 fell off. We're not sure about the 4th one. Do we pit or not? They said, let's not. They're staying out. They're taking the risk. Denny said, how many laps here? 45 to 50 laps, guys. They said they made their bet, and they're sticking to it.
Ooh, that's gutsy right there.
I hope the 3 that are on it are extremely tight.
Yes. It'll be 100 laps to go. Now, that is not a penalty. That is not illegal. Yes. If at the end of the race there's only 3 lug nuts, that's a problem. But each team manages their own inventory and their own stops as the race goes on. Green flag in the air. Here we go. Stage 3.
Oh, a lot of 3 wide already. Wide.
Christopher Bell flirting with the wall.
Look at Austin Cindric making it 4 wide.
Now Cindric's on the lead lap. He got back on the lead lap before the end of the stage. Chris Buescher got the free pass. Cindric, the 33 there, the Xfinity champ and Cup rookie, is a lead lap car.
Look at this battle up front for the lead. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson going at it.
He tried to stay on his door right
there. Yeah, he was there. Kyle Busch did everything that he needed to do to get that position.
Kevin, that 4 car really drove it in deep right there. Didn't quite clear him, though. Woo, that was close.
And opens up the door for Blaney to get a run on the outside.
Even. Still there right rear.
Oh, I think Bubba.
And almost collecting Chase Briscoe.
But he definitely collected the wall that right rear, so a little bit of damage there.
He was sideways. It all started in the apex, right in the center of 1 and 2. Man, he rode it right on the edge. I think the wall saved him, to be honest with you. That was for sure a caution right there. Quite a bit of damage, though.
Wallace does not pit.
Yeah, it's further back. It's just right at the right rear. As long as that fender's not in on the right rear, I don't think he's going to have to pit. But boy, it's going to affect the handling in a big way.
So here's going into turn 1.
You can see how he came up. Okay, I thought it started early, but wow, isn't that wild how he got down to the right rear of the one car of Kurt Busch, and that's when the car took off on him. I thought it was going to happen much sooner, because right here he's 3 wide in a really bad position, comes up behind the 48, but the car hooks right there. It just seemed like somehow maybe some right side air off the one actually made the nose plant a little bit on the exit, Clint.
Yeah, I was really thinking, I was looking for the one to slip up a little bit because of how close Bubba was to him, but I don't think it did. I think it was just a bad air situation, which it is, right? You're in the middle, 3 wide.
Well, Alex Bowman apparently got some damage in that. He's on pit road. He says he's flat spotted the right side.
Mike, he hit the wall harder than Bubba Wallace did, right in front of Bubba.
Yeah, so he probably, Regan?
Yeah, as Bubba Wallace got loose there, he actually collected Alex Bowman, who was on the outside. Alex got on the radio immediately after he hit the wall and said the tire rup's too severe. 2 right side tires to get the stop done as quick as they could.
He will lose 1 lap. Jamie?
Tyler Reddick in the 8 having a really good run today. He's been so fast on top, but he's gotten into the wall twice. Right now, not concerned so much about his race car. He's concerned about something else inside.
I'm going to need some props or something. Did Chipotle get a hold of you a little bit there, or what's going on? I don't know. I left a bag of ice, like, on my lower, or on my chest, and it kind of fell to my lower abdomen. I don't know if I just got, like, my cold, and they were kind of crampy from it. I don't know. Play it safe and take some time.
Oh, man. Well, that bag of ice has a chance to become hot water.
Been there before.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers, you know, there's not a lot that cools them. You have some air that can blow around the helmet. Some have a little vest that almost is either inside their uniform or maybe on the outside of the seat. But sometimes, you know, you need that ice pack that you put in, you know, around your chest, around your organs, inside that uniform. But boy, if that falls down, if it melts and gets underneath you, it can definitely cause a problem and potentially start to boil.
Like Kevin Harvick 4th, Brad Keselowski trying to reel him in. They're the 2 highest Fords in the race right now, 4th and 5th. Laps to go. Very little mix of sunshine and clouds, mostly cloud cover right now, but it seems like everybody's been good at one part of this race. Maybe nobody's been good for the whole race so far.
Well, I go back to that last trip to pit road. Jamie and Regan, they were reporting about a lot of adjustments being made. Let's go to our Ford Performance car. One adjustment that we saw has to do with the rear track bar right there on the right rear. And that's the bottom hole on the right side of the window. Now, if you raise that track bar, as you see right there, that will free the car up. The other adjustment, you can screw down it and lowering it. That will tighten the car up. And I saw a lot of adjustments like that being made on that last trip to pit road, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. Clint, we have a first in our quest to give away all your money.
That scares me.
Clint, you better dial up Matt from Ohio, because he was the only one who went 6 for 6 playing Fox.
All right, congrats,
That's $10,000 to Ohio, pending verification of eligibility, of course.
10 big ones. Man, that's cool.
And I thought Talladega was going to be unpredictable, but it looks like Kansas is the unpredictable one on those questions.
Ohio, they got cornfields there too, right?
Tell you what's going to be predictable. Any friend he's got knows where it's at, and the beer's on him tonight.
Yeah, you bet. Congratulations, Matt. Austin Dillon in 7th, 4 seconds off the lead right there. You saw some of that dust up between the 48 and the 23. Here's another look. Both into the wall and off again. 83 laps to go. Kyle Larson in the lead over Denny Hamlin by 1 second. Boys, you got all your notes ready? Because it's time. Jimmy's riding furiously. Jeff's getting ready for our Credit One Bank ones to watch.
I don't need any notes for this, Mike. Look at our leader right now, Kyle Larson, out front. He's already won on a mile and a half in Las Vegas, but he is trying to do something that he didn't do the last time that he won stage 2, and that's go on to victory lane. I think Kyle Larson gets it done today.
You know, Jeff, I don't know if anybody can beat Kyle Larson today, but Kevin Harvick won 9 races last year, 0 for 10 this year. We were talking earlier in the week, if he can have a good run here, that's maybe good signs for that 4-car sitting there in the top 5.
Guys, I'm sticking with my man Kyle Busch, stage 1 winner. Hasn't won a race in the last 46 years. That doesn't matter. Won the truck race last night. Birthday boy, Kyle Busch is my guy.
Hey, Brad Keselowski's a 2-time winner here at Kansas. He is dominant early in this race. The handling has gone away, but you know, as this thing winds down, you got to keep your eye on the 2 of Brad Keselowski.
Kansas City has one of the most beautiful Union stations in downtown of any city in America. Why does that matter? Because Denny Hamlin's more overdue than yesterday's train. And those are your Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
Did you write that?
Have you been there? It's beautiful. It
When do you
really
sit down and write all your jokes?
It's gorgeous.
That's somebody that's been a dad for a long time. That's what that is. Good job, Mike.
Definitely a dad joke.
22 years. Scott turns 22 this week. Yep. Well, I could have filled it up with all boring statistics, but I didn't have time to write any.
I tell you, I used to have a Union Station, and this downtown in particular in Kansas City, this is such a fun city. Obviously grew up coming up here a lot as a kid, racing in this place. I-70 just opened back up. How many years, Jeff? You go by that old sign, pull in there. Such a cool thing to see that big race. World Outlaws were there this weekend, putting on a good show for the fans. Lakeside down the road. Just a lot of good racing here in Kansas City.
There it is.
There you go. There's I-70 right there. Well, while we're prattling on about very little pertaining to the race, Applebee's wants to give you a big Fox Sunday. Crank it up.
We're at the end of this lap here. Finish off one more here.
Kyle Larson completes lap 195. He is about a 1/10 of a second per lap quicker than Denny Hamlin, who is faster than third place Kyle Busch by about the same margin. 10th place right there, Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell.
Whoa, a little side draft before you get into the corner by Chase Elliott.
You really got to be careful. You saw it. He was close, and when he pulled off of that car and pulled that wheel down into the corner, you saw the rear end kind of snap underneath of him. You got to be very, very careful right there.
72 laps to go, and at least one more pit stop before we have a winner in the Buschy McBusch Race 400 at Kansas.
As long as new drivers keep winning, who's going to complain?
That's right. The checkered flag here is 65 laps away, and then next Sunday, all the throwback action is here on FS1. The NASCAR Cup Series goes old school from Darlington in the Goodyear 400. Race day coverage begins at 2 Eastern, then live from the track, green flag action at 3:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. We're going to have Goodyear Blue Streak tires on those cars, just like we used to run back in the 60s and 70s.
You got your throwback suit ready, Clint, Mike?
Mine doesn't fit anymore. Imagine that.
We, you know, it's such an interesting conversation watching these playoff, you know, and this picture shape up. A guy like, I can't help but to think about Matt DiBenedetto, and I think he's proving, you know, there's still time. We kind of easily keep your, you know, look past that when you see all these new winners coming into the table, and you just, man, we're going to have 16 winners. Not so much. We're seeing the domination out of the 5-car Kyle Larson. He's a you know, he's won before, so I think that is going to be very interesting as we shape up into the playoff picture. And I will look no further than the job that he's been able to do, Matt DiBenedetto, in the last 3 weeks alone.
Well, and yeah, you want, if you have that opportunity to win like you did last week, you want to capitalize on it. I know that was disappointing, but he still came out of there with a good finish, and he's following it back up with a solid finish. And there's still a lot of races left to go, Mike, before we get to the playoffs. And so he can, we thought he was completely out of it. You mentioned it, Clint, that we thought he's completely out of it. He's not, because he's putting consistent good finishes together.
So the question is, can somebody still race their way in, right? And now you're starting to think about when I used to be young, man. I lived in a bubble for, you know, the better part of my career. And in the beginning of the season, you always had to look at that thing and say, all right, who are cars do I feel like you could, if I can't win, that I have to beat in? Last year, I looked no further than the 10-car of Eric Almirola. He had 18 top 10 finishes last year. This year, he's only had 1. That team's got to pick it up.
William Byron on pit road. So is Cole Custer. Jamie?
That's interesting how many of these cars, the handling has just gone away, and they can't seem to get it back no matter what the adjustments they make. The 24, one of those fired off tight and just never came back around, so they figured, let's come early, let's throw some things at it and see if it helps us here to the end.
Now, Kyle Busch's team has tires up and over the wall as if they're expecting him. He's the third-place car.
You know, going back to William Byron, remember, it wasn't long ago he was saying how loose he was. He was completely sideways, so it makes you wonder if they just got a set of tires that just didn't match up well for that race car that sent him down a path of getting loose and trying to tighten it up. Now he's too tight.
And that's exactly what happens. You get a set of tires, and not saying they're all usually perfect, right? But every now and then you'll get a set that just throws you for a loop, and you go chasing down that rabbit hole. All of a sudden you make those adjustments, then you get another set of tires, and lo and behold, it was the tires all along.
All right, lots more activity. Matt DiBenedetto's crew loosening up, and here's Jamie.
Kyle Busch is one of those teams that's gone in the right direction. He's in a good spot right now. This is the breakdown of his car currently.
Just wish I had more front tire in reserve, that's all. Balance right here is pretty good. Back is pretty good. Front's just a little bit tight, but because the back is good, I can round the entry better and relieve the front a little bit turning. Based on the zip, man, I thought our zip was really, really closer than probably the latter one.
The 3, the 10, and others have tires over the wall ready for a stop, but pit lane remains empty.
And Mike, this is a little early from splitting it in half, but The window is open to be able to make it to the end on fuel, taking advantage of those fresh tires a little early.
Very interesting to hear his comments right there on how similar the sim was. That's so important as a team and an organization, manufacturer, which, by the way, pays for that sim, to make sure that everything's the same. We all spend a lot of time going to that thing and making sure everybody agrees. All right, this is the right grip level that we can move down. Now we can start working on our setups and everything else to find a good balance for this.
And that's never more critical, than without practice.
And that's a sea change for Kyle Busch. Remember the first 4 races of this year when he was saying, this doesn't feel like the sim at all.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? If you're going to be good when they drop the green without practice, you have to have your simulation dialed in.
Christopher Bell's one of those lead lap cars to pit. Anthony Alfredo's in as well. And before we get deep into this round of pit stops, Matt DiBenedetto in 10th, Ross Chastain in 12th, Austin Cindric in 15th, Chris Buescher in 16th, all having a really good day on the lead lap. Here's Jamie.
Christopher Bell was so excited to get back to this racetrack. Loves this place. They've been hanging in there, definitely working on this race car, trying to make it better. His teammate, Kyle Busch in the 18 that we just heard from, pretty happy with the car overall. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, no chassis adjustments for Kyle Busch.
Keselowski in, Kurt Busch, DiBenedetto, Austin Cindric. Jamie.
Brad Keselowski in, really strong early on. The car just hasn't been the same. They've been on both sides of it with the adjustments. They make one and then they take it out on the next stop again.
Well, Kevin Harvick, they've had to work very hard on this race car all day long. It's been a struggle. They finally got it to where he likes it. He's just now starting to lose the back of the race car at the end of this run. Jamie?
Who's breathing a big sigh of relief right now? That guy on the right, Denny Hamlin. They only had 3 lugs tight on that right rear. Now they'll take it off. They'll make sure they get all 5 this time, Regan.
Your leader, Kyle Larson, was told, do not get any more on entry to pit road. You were much better than your competitors on the last green flag stop. Didn't want to risk a penalty there. As for the race car right now, just swung a little bit too tight for him. Small adjustment for that.
Martin Truex would have taken over the lead, but he too is now on pit road along with Tyler Reddick. Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr. had been fighting tight, but now he says it feels good again. Hope it lasts. So they'll leave it alone, put 4 tires on here unless they make a last-minute call here. The 8, the Tyler Reddick in, got those Tums earlier, hopefully feeling a little bit better behind the wheel. Been really solid effort today for the RCR bunch.
Joey Logano, Garrett Smithley, Eric Almirola, Michael McDowell, BJ McLeod all in the pits.
Tire loose out in the grass. That's hard to collect.
Now what do you do? Larry, all right, you see that as a pit. You were calling your guy in. Do you call him off of that? You still tell him to pit? What do you do there, Larry?
Well, if you see that right there, there's no question. Buescher, the 17, Stenhouse, the 47, and also Suarez, absolutely. If that stays out there, they're going to throw a caution. You've got to stay out.
But usually, Larry, don't they let it cycle through? They'll let the green flag steps cycle through before they'll throw that caution.
So
but these guys can run quite a ways from here.
Eric Almirola is being hit with an uncontrolled tire issue, and the 8 is responsible for the tire you see on the screen. Here's a look at Tyler Reddick's stop.
I bet you it bounces off the wall right here. Oh, they bat together, and that's all it takes right there. You see 2 guys. One came up with the tire, the other didn't. And he is super bummed out.
You do that 1,000 times, and that never happens.
Yep. Eric Jones finishes up his stop. So that leaves Buescher, Stenhouse, and Suarez on the racetrack, having not yet made this pit stop. Now, even so, there are 10 cars on the lead lap, even after the effective green flag stops.
Well, to Larry's point, you know, these guys can go a long way before they throw the car, or before they need to come down pit road. And so now it goes back into NASCAR's hands. What are they going to do? Because there is that tire out on pit road.
Well, they're obviously going to let everybody cycle through, and then once they cycle, they'll more than likely go find it.
Yep, here's Stenhouse coming to pit road, and Tyler Reddick is in to serve the penalty for that uncontrolled tire. Regan?
Ricky Stenhouse crew chief Brian Patty was pointing at the tire from the top of the pit box. He could see it. You could tell he wanted that caution so badly. His race car right now, they've been fighting the back of the car all day long. Just a little bit too edgy, looking for rear grip with it.
So Chris Buschy is the race leader as we stay green. Now, you know, in the old days, they would have waited till pit road was clear. They would have just sent a crewman across to get that tire and bring it back.
Well, I can tell you in my career, I've never seen one out there without a caution.
Well, and I find it interesting that Brian Patty brought Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down pit road because I think they want the caution while they're out on the track. I think what NASCAR is going to do is once the cycle is completed, then they're going to throw the caution. So that would not work for a guy like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Chris Buschy, who's still out on track.
Well, Jeff Stenhouse had to pit. He had pitted about 10 or 12 laps earlier than Buescher and Suarez. Now, Buescher in the 17, he can go about another 8 to 10 laps.
And I don't think NASCAR is going to throw the caution until he comes down pit road.
Now, Daniel Suarez is not on the lead lap. He's one down. Same with Corey LaJoie, one lap down, and they're on the same cycle as race leader Chris Buschy. Ryan Preece makes a stop, and Matt Mills comes in. There's your Xfinity fastest lap. Last time by, Kyle Larson, a little quicker than Ryan Blaney, Harvick, Hamlin, and Keselowski. Previous lap, it was reversed. Eric Almirola came in, made a stop for tires, and now he's making his penalty pass through for the uncontrolled tire. William Byron getting back on the lead lap from Chris Buescher and Matt DiBenedetto, so now 13 cars on the lead lap. Joey Gase in the 15 today. He's on pit road along with Quinn Houff. Kyle Larson 8.6 seconds back of Chris Buescher. Larry, how long can Buescher stay out?
He can run about another 6-7 laps, Mike. Okay. So that'll take him to about lap 220, about 228, 229, right in there.
Coming up Saturday, an MLB doubleheader on FS1 at 4 Eastern. The Padres battle the Giants, then at 7. The Phillies and the Braves all on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Kurt Busch now back on the lead lap, as is his teammate at Ganassi Racing, Ross Chastain. So that's now 15 cars have cycled around to the lead lap against leader Chris Buescher, who, along with Daniel Suarez, have yet to make this green flag stop.
Well, we're obviously not going to get a caution for that tire that's in the grass off the pit road. At least not until our leader, Chris Buescher, comes down pit road. So right now, this race team and Chris Lambert, you know, what he's really hoping for is, Luke Lambert, the crew chief here, he's hoping a caution comes before that. He needs that caution in order to make this strategy work.
Well, yeah, but how can you not be frustrated if that's the case and he pits and then the caution comes out? He was calling his race according to what he saw. That's a tough one, man.
Kyle Larson trying to bring the gap down. Now he has almost 4 seconds on Denny Hamlin. They are currently second and third.
Yeah, I was watching this time both Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch coming to pit road to make that green flag stop. And I thought Denny was a little conservative. You know, we're used to seeing him really be aggressive and attack that pit entry. He's, you know, number one on all of our stats as it relates to pit stops and sequences and rolling time down pit road. But right there, Larson was able to gap the 11 team pretty good through that cycle.
And Kyle Larson is now the race leader with Chris Buescher on pit road.
Clint and Jeff, I totally agree with y'all. With where that tire is sitting right there, with them letting us run this far, I think they have to let it stay green. That's just my opinion.
I agree with your opinion there, Larry.
Like Clint said, Luke Lambert was calling his race based on where that tire was sitting there in that grass.
Well, and, you know, in history, that's always been a caution. It isn't necessarily opinions or whatever, but that's not there's nobody going to hit that tire.
No.
It's in a place that's pretty safe, in my opinion.
And that's a good point, Clint, because there is more grass between the front stretch and pit road here, more distance, than probably any other track we go to.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly NASCAR judged that this was not a safety issue. The race rolls on.
I bet you could put a couple football fields out there in that grass.
Oh, yeah,
that's a lot of grass.
2 or 3 arrowheads right there.
There's Daniel Suarez now going one lap down to the new leader, Kyle Larson. Larry, I don't suppose tires in the grass have anything to do with your trends, do they?
Well, it might. That tire may be retrieved here because what I did, I went back and looked at the last 8 Kansas races. That's all you have to do is throw to Larry Mack.
We knew exactly what was going to happen when Larry Mack started his trends. I mean, that's the history that I've been seeing, is that when the tire is somewhat out of the way but still needs to be retrieved, they wait till it cycles through. I'm just surprised that they waited that long for the 17 to do his cycle.
Hey, and who benefits? Daniel Suarez. It's the free pass. And the AMR safety team comes out and does their good deed for the day. Tyler Reddick's team gets its tire back.
What I hate for Chris Buescher, went from leading the race to a lap down now.
Yes, and yes. Back in the pre-race show, you saw Eric Stonestreet putting a tackle on Clint Bowyer.
I was going to say the guy needs to work on his footwork. That's exactly. Is the guy next to me.
And in case you missed it,
Patrick Mahomes about to attempt his first pass since offseason toe surgery, and he's throwing to none other than Kansas native Clint Bowyer.
I mean, I feel like I got a chance.
You look good. You looked the part. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, Mahomes at the line of scrimmage, takes the snap, drops back, not far. Bowyer makes a move, and he's got it down inside the 30. Stonestreet rips him to the ground.
Dude.
One take. Well, the good news for Chiefs fans, Mahomes looks to be in midseason form.
1 day a year. And I've had the privilege of wearing it 2 years in a row, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's make it 3.
Look, Tyreek out there a little bit.
Did you hear the mirth in Joe Buck's voice when he said that Stonestreet rips him to the ground?
See, I heard him say I look like Tyreek out there. You hear that, Jeff?
I heard it.
Bring it.
Well, your leader, Kyle Larson, that race car tight all day long. They finally got it to where he's too free right now. Wants to tighten it up just a little bit. Kevin Harvick, his race car as well, just a little bit too loose right now. Jamie?
The 11 and Denny Hamlin just a little bit tight through the middle, especially. Kyle Busch, on the other hand, started out a little bit tight. He told him, let's take a big swing at it. Air pressure, track bar. We can have a chance to win this thing today. Still looking for his first win of the season.
Joey Logano, talk about a gamble. 2 tires.
Oh, boy, that is a big gamble. Well, it wasn't that long ago. I guess they were on pit road for 4 tires, so those lefts have a little bit on them, but not too much.
Well, the uncontrolled tire parade continues. This time it's Kevin Harvick.
Oh, man, just rolled off. So they'll give you some leeway, but not that much.
Youth and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Visit goodsports.org. Caution is out right now for that uncontrolled tire that had lain in the infield grass for quite a number of laps. And we're told that Kevin Harvick and Daniel Suarez both had uncontrolled tires on those stops.
Man.
So where this all ends up, as you pointed out, Chris Buescher ends up on the tail end of the lead lap, along with Ricky Stenhouse, Michael McDowell, and Tyler Reddick. They are all going to take the wave around to get back on the lead lap. But when Buescher finally did make his green flag pit stop, because he had waited so long in the cycle, Kyle Larson came steaming on by and put him a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. You know, you're out there on older tires. Those leaders that come down, put 4 fresh Goodyears on, and are making up a lot of time. So the longer that Luke Lambert kept that 17 car out there, the more time he was losing. I don't know if he would have been able to stay on the lead lap regardless, but certainly went a lap down once that caution came out.
Now, Larry, help me on Daniel Suarez. He's the free pass car, but he had an uncontrolled tire. That doesn't take away the free pass, does it?
It should not take the free pass. He just will have to, as you see him right now, he's going to have to start at the tail end of the longest line based on the uncontrolled tire. But he was the recipient of that free pass at the moment of the caution.
Right, thank you. Nine different winners in 10 races this season. That does not include the current second and third place drivers, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch.
We'll see Larson mixing it up a little bit. He's been on that inside lane. That time he chose the outside lane.
And here's a little review. Since 2014 and the current playoff format, 9 different winners. And there's 21 of last season's victories not represented on that list, including your defending series champion and the prior series champion, Kyle Busch. All of them in the top 10 right now. 9 winners in the first 10 races, second most ever. I think 2004 we started with 10 in a row or more.
But, Mike, I can't remember the last time we've had something flip 180 degrees like that. 3 of the most dominant drivers on the track a season ago with 0 wins at 11 races in or 10 races in.
And it's been that way from the drop of the green flag in the Daytona 500. The parity that we've had in this series, in this Cup Series in NASCAR, has just been unreal, unmatched in any other year in my career. It's so much fun to call these races because of that.
Well, I made the analogy to our friends at Fox and Friends this morning. I said, this season is like the NFL season, starting out with both Super Bowl teams and all the division champions going 0-4 without a win.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't imagine it. It's possible.
It's not
but you couldn't imagine it.
That's a great analogy.
We're going to listen to Kyle Busch's team on this restart.
Between into mid, Blaney's on you. Keep the 12, don't let him find your top here. Open her front, on you, push it. Go side 11. Right now inside 12, very bottom. 3 off to you to the top. You're gonna have Logano with his old tires there, the buffer right now. Just you and the 12. They're gonna be coming back at you here. 2 off, 1 off with a push. On you, 22.
That's Tony Hirschman, Kyle Busch's spotter. Kyle currently in third, side by side for the lead, Hamlin and Larson.
And it's such a decision right there. If you're Kyle Larson, the leader, which lane do you take? That choose rule is an important thing right now. Now that Denny Hamlin's going to get clear of him off of 4.
I'll tell you what,
got a race on their hands.
That was a big decision by Kyle Larson to take that outside. Now the 11 of Denny Hamlin has the lead, and these cars have been matched up pretty good, except for on the long run. We got 30 laps to go.
Now, what does Hamlin do to keep Larson behind him?
He's going to move up and take his line. You know Kyle Larson, once he catches him, you know Kyle Larson is going to want that outside line. That's where he's been all day long. His spotter knows that, and Denny Hamlin knows that. As he catches him, which he'll take a few laps here, you watch for this 11 car to move up and take that line away from him.
Oh, a big bottom-to-top elevator ride going into turn 1 for Kyle Larson. Was that a move, or did the car get away from him,
I just think he's trying to, mess with Denny Hamlin. He's trying to get in his mirror and move all over the place to try to get Denny Hamlin to guess, where is Larson going to go next? How do I block the next move that's coming?
You already see it right there. So Denny Hamlin moved up, getting in a 3, took his line away, forced Kyle Larson off his game. Now Kyle's on the bottom, trying to figure out what that's all about.
Look at Denny Hamlin's eyes through that shield. Right now, when you're in the corner at a mile and a half, you're glued to that corner and what's in front of you. As soon as he gets up on the straightaway, though, looks in that mirror, wants to know where's Kyle Larson. How did I pull away from him off of that corner?
Yeah, I saw 2 glances. Looked in the mirror up off the corner, looks in the mirror getting in. How did he get a big run on me off? And how am I going to block his line getting into the corner? That's exactly what you saw, Jeff.
Look at him. He was looking in his mirror, turning off into the corner to turn 1.
But that's how this race was won last year. Joey Logano held off the 4 of Kevin Harvick doing this exact same thing.
1.5 top seam. 1.5 top seam, 2 back top seam. Still 2, no gain. Still 2.
And we documented it in our pre-race. No stranger to winning here at Kansas, Denny Hamlin. I believe 2 of the last 3 races.
That was another big outside-in move by Kyle Larson. I don't know if the outside's just going away a little bit. He doesn't like what he feels, or is he just trying to get out of his mirror, playing a little head games, getting guessing as to where to block.
The last time Larson dominated a race was Ryan Blaney, who took the win away from him in Atlanta. Blaney right now sitting 4th, 1.4 seconds back.
Well, right now, you got overcast, new tires, and you could hear on board at Denny Hamlin, he's wide open. It's going to be hard for Kyle Larson to make a pass as long as they're wide open. Once that grip starts to go away, you start lifting off the throttle, that might open up the door for Larson. Oh! Denny's in the wall.
In the wall hard, too.
And Larson has the lead.
You could hear Denny lift just before you hear the damage when he made contact with the wall.
He'll have to pit there, Jeff. He hit it pretty hard.
Well, and that goes back to what I was trying to say. He can't lift. He could not lift, and he knew it. He knew the 5 of Larson was getting close, and he could not lift. But that car just took off on him.
Kyle Busch takes 2nd here. Let's listen in on the replay.
Front end just took off on him, and he knew it. And once it does that, you're along for the ride. Now the right front's down. I knew it was only a matter of time. He hit it pretty hard.
And the caution is out.
Hey, that's commitment, though. Going for a win.
Only the 5th yellow of the day. As Denny Hamlin then got up into the wall, cut the tire down in turn 2. Here is the first time.
And none of this had anything to do with Larson other than the fact that he was stalking him. But you can see the car starts coming up the racetrack, and that's just that front tire grip starting to go away for the leader. Here's where things went bad. Once you push those fenders in on those tires, it's only a matter of time before it's going to cut a tire down, and that right front went.
Alex Bowman will get the free pass with 22 laps to go.
It's got to be frustrating for Denny Hamlin. I mean, he's been our most consistent car, pretty much dominating races, and hasn't been able to punch his way into victory.
Hasn't been able to close it. He's been in this position. He's been up there so many times, but just can't quite close the deal.
This is going to be
be interesting on this strategy right here. They run 9 laps, but remember, Joey Logano's got 25 laps on his left side tires. I think you will see a mixed bag here. We're going to go back racing probably with about 17 or 18 to go.
Well, I feel, being on board there with Denny Hamlin, I feel for him because he did everything right. He got the great start that he wanted, got himself back up into position to compete for this win, and you know, him dropping his head, just got to believe that he's just...
Oh, look at this.
Oh, man, look at...
But honestly, it goes back to what we were talking about. Got him in a mirror. Kyle Larson did a great job moving around on the exit pit in particular and had Denny Hamlin in his mirror guessing where he's going to be.
Regan.
Well, just a little while ago, Chase Elliott said that's the best the car has been all day. They felt like their best shot to win was going to be to get tires right here, so that's what the call was. Tires for him. Jamie?
William Byron decided to come on in, an air pressure adjustment for him. Like the adjustment on the last stop, they'll do more of that. The 2, Brad Keselowski, you see a big track bar adjustment, it'll look like there, and 4 tires for Brad.
Pretty busy there at the tail end of pit road. 3 of them coming in all at once, and a big break for Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, the other drivers that took the wave around on the last caution.
Watch this fake out. I'm going to pit. I'm going to pit. No, I'm not. And that's the mixed bag that Larry was talking about right there.
21 laps to go in Kansas. We'll take you Fox side by side.
I am in awe of your bravery, your selflessness, your strength. For the millions of ways you keep us safe, I am only here because of your sacrifice. And I am not going to stop until each and every one of you is recognized for what you do for this country. And for that, I am forever grateful. I am NASCAR.
An F-150 isn't an F-150 because of the name on the tailgate. It's an F-150 because it's built for tough, built to haul more, built to tow more, for the people who count on it. Because they know that brawn can get the job done, but it takes brains and brawn to get it done right. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
You're into your shows, right? The Office. Now you can be really into your shows with Xfinity. Find your favorites with just your voice.
There is no fire. It was only a simulation.
What? Dwight.
Manual takes another.
Get live sports on the go. He's stealing my scene. And if you have Xfinity Internet, Flex is included. So your entertainment starts at free. So go on. Get really into your shows. You need lotion. Xfinity. It's a way better way to watch.
Are you researching Little Caesars thin crust?
Mm-hmm.
Do all the toppings really go right to the edge?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to put us out of business?
Mm-hmm.
We still on for pickleball at 4?
Mm-hmm. We're not Big Pizza, we're Little Caesars. The extra most best is thin crust, just $6.49. Pizza.
Saturday, it's a doubleheader on FS1. First, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado power the Padres against the Giants. Then, Bryce Harper leads the Phillies.
Are you kidding me?
Against Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves.
It's gone!
Saturday at 4 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
I am tradition, passed down from the families that race to the ones that watch us every weekend. I am NASCAR.
It's going to be 1 to go. Denny Hamlin's crew finishes up repairs, sends him out to keep him on the tail end of the lead lap. Which lane should Kyle Larson choose?
Well, me and Clint
stick with the money guy there.
Clint just beat me on a small little friendly wager. Because
friendly wager? I thought there was some money on the line.
You never said any number. But
4, 5. Yeah.
All right, so prior to the choose, here's the 5's radio.
Yeah, it's just all dependent on push down the backstretch, I think.
The 22 that's in 4th took right the previous stop, and currently the top 6 stayed out with us. 7th and 8th are right sides, and then 4 beyond that.
Okay.
Well, but you're banking that guy behind you at 19 laps to go, 18 when we take the green, is going to be a pusher.
Yeah, not trying to put you 3 wide when he catches you. And that's an aggressive race car driver in Ryan Blaney. But honestly, if I'm Kyle Larson, stick with what got you here. He's been running the outside better than anybody all day long. He's able to keep his momentum and speed up there. Even though he's got birthday boy Kyle Busch and the aggressive driver that he is, stick with what got you there.
So the top 6 drivers on the board did not stop. The first 3 rows back to Austin Dillon. Behind him, Matt DiBenedetto on back have fresh tires.
Yeah, Mike, DiBenedetto and Truex right sides only, and then basically from Keselowski on back, who's 9th and back, all of those drivers pitted for 4 fresh tires.
So now the question just, is that enough of a buffer, those, you know, Kyle Busch, Blaney Logano, Chastain, Austin Dillon, to those fresh tires behind you?
Sparks are fixing to fly, ladies and gentlemen.
In the top 6, Busch, Chastain, Dillon have not yet won this season. We're back under green. 18 to go.
Comes a big push from that outside.
Yeah, that's going to get Larson clear right there.
Great, 3 wide. Better get down and take it.
Ross Chastain there battling with Blaney.
Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain were in that truck race last night, and they find themselves in the top 5 here, benefiting from that experience. And 17 to go.
And even though these cars drive quite a bit different than those trucks, any experience on the track and the direction that maybe the track would go in, to me, is a great thing to have.
Well, I think what's going in the right direction, those 4 fresh tires on that 2-car, Brad Keselowski. Remember what I said at the top of the show. Changing just right sides or staying out can be a short-term gain only.
A lot of 3 wide, middle of the pack here. Everybody jostling. Oh, in the wall, 1 car, pretty hard. That was Austin Dillon. He was 5th. He's now dropped down to the top 10. Stenhouse going for a big ride, and caution is out.
Oh boy, Larry Mack. Oh boy, you were just talking about Brad Keselowski. Those fresh 4 tires sitting in 3rd position. Now, what do you do if you're Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch?
Yeah, I think they've made their bed, Jeff. We're going to go back racing with less than 10 to go, and we're sitting here now with 22, 23 drivers on the lead lap. There's no way those 2 guys can come to pit road.
Austin Cindric, you saw the 33 also involved. Let's go back first to what happened to Austin Dillon coming off turn 4.
See Austin, the car, I don't know if he meant to move up the racetrack and then he got caught kind of in some turbulent air and it took off on him, or if it was already taken off on him from the bottom lane. But similar to the 11, Denny Hamlin makes contact with the wall.
47 here just got loose underneath Austin Cindric. Moved up. They just run out of real estate and finally spun out.
They were fighting for 15th position.
Now
Busch did a nice job getting by.
I totally agree with Larry. You're lying in the bed you made, right? These are the decisions you made, but it makes this restart and a decision and the lines that you make now, I think it's very, very important.
Well, if I'm up there and I'm basically Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, red, yellow, Nevada, stay the hell out.
Let's ride with Denny Hamlin, who is still on the lead lap after his troubles. And Bubba Wallace, who is 1 lap down.
That 2-car on this restart with those tires, it's just such a dangerous thing. If you're the leader, Kyle Larson, and with Kyle Busch even right there, door to door, trying to make the right decision what lane to be in to keep that 2 behind you on those tires is going to be very important.
I was going to say the same thing. I don't think he's going to be behind you for long.
Joey Logano's going to get 4 tires this time. So's Denny Hamlin.
Joey Logano almost had to. They had kind of painted themselves in a box with changing just those right sides earlier.
So now, which lane do you want on the restart?
Well, the last two for Kyle Larson, our leader, he chose the outside. I thought he was going to try the inside this last time because the outside didn't work out, but that time it did work. And again, it goes back to who is going to be lined up behind you. You don't know that with the choose rule of whether it's going to be Blaney or is it going to be Keselowski or potentially somebody else. But, you know, one of those guys is going to be your pusher. I think right now I'd rather have Blaney than Keselowski.
I agree. I think if you take the outside, again, going right back to what you did, you put Blaney behind you, because I think if you try to do the inside, he's going to put you 3 wide, and now you're in the meat in a sandwich. If he stays to the outside, if those guys get 3 wide, they might stall out down there and get you the lead. Is exactly what Kyle Larson needs. He needs clean air and a lead to keep that 2 car behind him.
I just got to believe that the 2's probably going to take the outside, get, you know, more options out there on the outside.
And 1 week from today, we're going to be at NASCAR's most storied track to open its 73rd season.
The Cup Series drivers pack up the haulers and get ready for the tradition of Darlington.
Green flag, green flag.
Maybe a short track, but the speeds are electric.
It is going to be crazy.
Can only lead to one thing.
Big crash.
The action kicks off with race day, starting at 2 Eastern on FS1.
Always a fun trip, and it's throwback weekend in Darlington. A lot of great historic paint schemes that we'll see.
Got a throwback here.
Yeah.
This paint scheme once driven by the late Ricky Hendrick in a truck
to Victory Lane
Victory
here.
Lane right here.
Yep. Wow.
And Chris Myers, that sit-down interview, great piece in our pre-race today.
Hey, check this out. Give a little love to the Evel Evil. There's the Evel Knievel Museum right down here in Topeka. Topeka Harley Davidson's awesome museum. Huge Evel Knievel fan. Anybody that's never been there, I'm telling you right now.
Who's not an Evel Knievel fan?
I'm
He's
telling
the man.
you, that museum is awesome.
Didn't every kid that had one of those Schwinn bikes with the banana seat have himself a helmet and a cape and want to be Evel Knievel?
Heck yeah.
And didn't every one of those kids end up in the hospital with a cast?
Hey, if you wanted to be real Evel Knievel, you had to break some bones.
Yeah. Gosh. All right. Larson, unsurprisingly, to the outside.
2, 3, 4.
A lot of cars to the outside.
I think if Larson had his way, he'd want to be the outside, but have Blaney behind him. Somebody with not fresher tires. So this is going to be tricky. I mean, he's got to not only try to race the 18 of Kyle Busch, but he's got to try to figure out how to use a push from the 2 of Brad Keselowski, but not let Brad get 3 wide or to my outside.
To the outside. If you're 3 wide, if in fact you give him 3 wide, make sure it's in the middle.
So the tire line goes back to 12th place. Below that line, everybody has new tires. Above that line, they have at least some green flag laps on them.
Yeah, watch that 2 car on the outside of row 2, Brad Keselowski. He's got the freshest of the top 4 cars up there.
This is, man, I don't know what it is about this place, but these late race cautions like this, it just blows this race completely out of proportion. All your things that you expected, tires, everybody's all over the place here. This makes for wild restart.
And we're coming to 10 to go. No holding back.
Pay window's open, isn't it?
Tighten your seatbelt. Pace car is in. Green, green, green.
Oh, man, Keselowski laid back.
Then he had to move up to block the Chase Elliott, which cut them all off guard and broke up that outside line.
Chase is there to the outside. He also has 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, but I tell you who's there is Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is our leader.
Is the lead.
Suarez with the freshest tires went up high, but Christopher Bell blocked the outside going into 1. Kyle Busch, trouble, turn 4, one car around. Christopher Bell catches Ryan Preece, and he's in the fence, and caution waves. And Ricky Stenhouse got all piled up on that one. So both the JTG Doherty cars involved. There's Preece, and Stenhouse going to come to a halt right at start finish.
That was tough on JTG Doherty right there.
Yep.
It was tough on your leader, Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
He's running third right now. Now he's got even more, a harder decision to make here. See that last week, Talladega. That's a prime Talladega restart right there.
And that just opened up the door for the 18 of Kyle Busch to get clear of both the 5 and the 12.
So Kyle Larson's going to get another chance here to retake the lead. Here's some of their audio.
I'm sorry. How much I can do this time? It's all right. We're going to do it again, and we're going to pass them back. I know you will. Just got to be on our game, and we'll set them up and pass them. We've been doing it every other restart. Whenever they get a little bit ahead of us for a lap or two, we come get them back. That's what we're going to do.
I love the confidence. I love the positiveness. And Cliff Daniels, crew chief for Kyle Larson.
Now, the other reason that 47 was all steamed, that wreck took them out of the playoff top 16.
Oh, boy.
Temporarily, at least. After a fine start to the season, they will end this one in the garage area. And a finish probably somewhere in the low to mid 30s.
Preece is going to have some serious downforce on the rear of that car. It's
not going to go down the straightaway very fast. That's a lot of drag.
A lot of downforce.
And a lot of skew.
Rear end's broken.
The whole rear end's knocked over.
So there's 6 laps to go, but there are 7 cars more than 6 laps down. So he'll circulate a couple times and just kind of set his finishing position for the day. Not what he had hoped. Let's ride along with Ryan Newman here with our Coke can.
Middle, real tight to your right. You got him spinning. He's kind of going to the bottom. He's going to the bottom. He's getting knocked back up. All right, caution's out. Caution's out. Caution's out.
Ryan did a great job. You saw he actually got into Ryan Preece right there, but he sped back up. He throttled back up and enabled him to get past this right here, just barely.
And that's why, because he saw the 47 make contact with Christopher Bell and send him back up the banking.
And into Preece.
You know, we talked about this in our pre-race about the similarities in wrecks here at Kansas on a 1.5-mile track to the big one at a Daytona or Talladega, and man, it's happening again.
It takes me right back to the speed of this racetrack, the width of this racetrack. You're 3-4 wide. That's a recipe for disaster every time, just like it was last week at Talladega.
Well, and similar to what happens in the closing laps at Talladega, nobody's going to lift.
And the laps dwindle down as there are still track trucks out there blowing debris out of turns 1 and 2, and now they're headed for the backstretch as Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez pit. Now they're both still on the lead lap, which means they're still in the top 21 right now. Chase Briscoe is the first car 1 lap down. They've turned Preece's car into a pickup truck here. It's a El Camino style Camaro. Chase Briscoe is the free pass, being the first car 1 lap down. And it looks like we're going to have a 2-lap shootout to finish this.
I think it's going to be longer than that.
Well, let's do a little recap for you of the day so far in Kansas. Brad Keselowski led at the competition caution lap 25. Kyle Busch, birthday boy, winning stage number 1. Ryan Preece bumps his tire carrier there on the pit stop. He was able to get up and finish the stop without incident. Kyle Larson won stage 2, and up to this point, no caution flag had flown other than the competition one and the stage breaks. A lot of uncontrolled tires, and probably the one that most changed the complexion of the race was this. Tyler Reddick has a tire go out into the grass, and NASCAR waits a considerable time until every lead lap car had made a pit stop before finally throwing the caution flag for that wheel and tire. Denny Hamlin racing hard against Kyle Larson, gets into the wall. Caution comes out, and cautions breed cautions. The next one, Austin Cindric and Ricky Stenhouse. And then finally, Christopher Bell goes around and collects Stenhouse and Ryan Preece.
Poor Tad. Caution was rough on him.
Ooh. Yeah, Tad and Brad have had a rough weekend right there all of a sudden.
For him.
And for Blaney.
Kyle Busch out front, birthday boy, trying to get this done.
3 wide in the back. Will we make it to the white flag? 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. We do.
Well, Brad Keselowski got a huge push, but slides up the racetrack in front of Chase Elliott.
Never get up higher. Chase gets blocked. Nowhere to go. Brad was there.
Kevin Harvick comes to second. We said it. You never know. That's why you never give up in this sport.
All right, birthday candles versus new tires. Here they come off turn 4 for the win. For the first time this year, Kyle Busch goes to victory lane. He wins the Buschy McBusch race 400.
Wow. Happy birthday, Kyle. Great job. Kevin Harvick coming from clear back there. And poor Kyle Larson. What a heartbreak for him.
And another winner, Mike.
10 out of 11. Kyle Busch has just joined Hall of Famer Cale Yarborough as the second NASCAR driver in history to win more than once on his birthday.
That's it. Awesome job, man. That's a Kyle Busch win right there. Awesome job. Woo!
And I can tell you, for the rest of the season, the rest of the competition, giving this guy a handful of confidence is very dangerous.
Isn't that the truth?
It's Kyle's 17th straight season with a win. Every year that he's been full-time in the Cup Series, he's won at least once. And that ties David Pearson for second on the all-time list. Richard Petty won 18 years in a row.
Happy for him. Twice, man. It's been a tough week for them.
Yes.
Congratulations to both of them, man. Unbelievable run for him, and this is going to be emotional for him, I think.
58th career NASCAR Cup Series win.
Been a while since we've seen the bow. Oh, where is it?
46 race.
He's got to get that checkered flag first.
Fourth win of the season for Toyota, and their 7th at Kansas. Kyle greets a couple of young fans, and here we go.
Got to get position, Mike.
There it is. That kid's pumped.
Yep. So Kyle Busch about to get happy birthday greetings from Jamie Little.
On his birthday, Kyle Busch turns 36 and gets his first win of the year. And Kyle, it's been one of those years. The start of the year, you have a new crew chief. He's a rookie on top of the box. The ups, the downs of racing. What does it mean to you to get back to victory lane?
Well, you talk about ups and downs of racing. It's been a lot of downs of life for us. I got a great opportunity and a great job, no doubt. but struggling with the infertility and stuff like that with Samantha. So, hey to Samantha and Brexton back home, and hopefully he won. I don't know what the results are of Brexton's race today, but just a great day to be able to put this M&M's mixed Camry up front. I want to thank Hy-Vee, our retail partner. They did a huge promotion for us this year with M&M's and Rowdy Energy. So it's cool to get everybody back in the victory lane again this early in the season, to be able to get some of those points going our way now. And hopefully, well, hell, I just remembered the Buschy McBusch race. The Busch won it. What do you know? Right on.
Kyle, when you go through these struggles in the car, out of the car, how do you remain focused and keep everybody behind you and believing in your ability?
Well, I mean, it's hard sometimes. When you go through the lulls, you go through the disappointment, you go through the dejection and the understanding or the ununderstanding, I guess, of just whether or not you can still do it. There's a sense of doubt there for sure, you know, but you just got to keep persevering, keep digging, and putting your focus forward and being able to come out here and win this thing. So thanks to all the fans here at Kansas Speedway. It's awesome to have people back and you guys coming out and supporting us for what we can do with the rules right now. But thanks to my team, everybody at Toyota, TRD, M&M's Camry was awesome today. So Ben Bishore, it's his first win as a crew chief. Happy for him, happy for my guys, and let's celebrate.
Congratulations, Kyle.
Kyle Busch led 4 times today for a total of 20 laps, including the last one. Take us through this restart.
Yes, watch his teammate Mark Truex Jr. comes up behind him and gives him a little nudge. Right at that time, he jumped to the throttle. We thought that he was going to spin the tires and potentially lose the lead to the challenger out there on the outside, the 12 of Blaney. But watch Blaney and Larson, they kind of connect and turns him sideways, and that allows the 18 of Kyle Busch to kind of set sail.
Yeah, and that's the push. I mean, Kyle Larson's trying to push the 12 to the lead. That's his only chance. And when he got sideways, now you're along for the ride. Wrecked both of you.
And the driver with the freshest tires, who restarted 4th in the outside lane, ends up 2nd. Here's Regan.
Well, Mike, he did have the freshest tires. A late race pit road penalty, but a great recovery for you, Kevin, to get this car back up to 2nd. Looked like the seas just kind of parted for you there.
Yeah, they did. You know, I told Rodney that's why I drive and don't make the calls on pit road, because when I came out, I'm like, man, we're dead in the water here. But our Busch Light for the Farmers Ford Mustang was on and off today. They did a good job of adjusting it and had the right strategy there at the end to have better tires than everybody else, and got pretty aggressive there at the end and were able to come up with a good finish.
Nice job, Kevin. Thanks.
That will elevate Harvick to 8th in the point standings as Kyle Busch becomes the 10th different winner in this season's first 11 races.
Telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Kyle Busch celebrates in the Great Plains. Breaks the duck, as they say in England. That's the big duck egg, the goose egg, the 0. So he's got the win. And Kyle Larson gets to wonder what might have been. Jamie.
Kyle Larson brings it home, 19th, led 132 laps today. Kyle, everybody was watching you and expecting you to be the one to beat today, and you were. But take us through the end of this race, caution after caution, how that impacted you guys.
Yeah, I had the 2 behind me, and he didn't get to my bumper, and then I think he had to protect from the guy behind him, and it just allowed the bottom to get a good jump on us and clear. The bottom 2 lanes cleared me, so fell back to 3rd, and I just planned on pushing Blaney as hard as I could, and obviously I just was pushing too hard and got him loose and chased ourselves both up into the wall. So just was trying to help him stay side by side with the 18 down the back to allow myself to have some sort of opportunity. And like I said, I just pushed too hard. That's really the first time I was behind anybody on a restart. So thought I could push around the corner, but I learned for next time.
Thanks,
So Kyle Larson ends up 19th today as Kyle Busch sits in victory lane. Lots more expanded post-race coverage to come from Kansas and from our Charlotte studio.